your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and vocal.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
Yes. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. on a beautiful, beautiful Monday. Weather has been cool, but the rumors are hot for Sacramento, whether it's Russell Westbrook, Jonathan Kaminga, some of the names that we've been throwing around. We continue to break down how the Kings can go into this season with a little bit more hope than what the, outside media has for them. And whether it's Vegas, whether it's a talking head for Bleacher Report or the Four Letter Network, whoever it is, the Kings seem to be fixated on certain players, and they're not leaving without them. And on the other side of it, they almost seem to be fixated on moving on for certain players. And they ain't going to start the season with them. Or at least they're not going to make it throughout the whole season. So we will get into all of that. And as we kick off the show, of course, it is 30 minutes commercial free at the top of every hour. So don't move a muscle as we get this thing kicked off and we take off into the 4 hours. That is the Allen Stiles Show. Kyle, how you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm having a great time, Alan. Just a fantastic weekend across the board. Maybe not as great as your weekend. You seem like you had a fun time palling around the Bay.
A lot happened, okay?
Fighting with restaurants? I
did not fight with the restaurant. I just thought that it was unnecessary what they said.
You just did it passive-aggressively.
I asked. All I do, and this has always been my shtick, all I do is ask questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
Passive aggressive.
All I did was ask a question, and, we will discuss whether or not, it's fair or foul. And I have to give some more details into what happened. But that'll be much, much later in the show because we have plenty of Kings talk to get to. The over or under at the Giants game, I'll tell you this much, it was close until it wasn't. And I will tell you what happened to push it over the edge. Some of you may judge us. I don't care because this is Oracle Park. It's the most Oracle Park thing ever. So I won't make you wait too long for that. We'll do that at the bottom of the hour. We also have Kings offseason grades from Kevin Pelton. Well, he's got all the offseason grades. We're just going to focus on the Kings. We'll get into that Dan Favale article, NBA rosters that don't make sense. We say goodbye to somebody that there was a whole hive for this player, okay? A two-way guy. We were just talking to him in Vegas. He talked about how Isaac Jones and Keon Ellis were really big inspirations to him. Unfortunately, he is headed off to Houston, and this player is no longer with the Sacramento Kings. And does it say something that he got picked up so quickly? I thought it was interesting when you look at, and I'll reveal who it is, but I thought it was interesting that the Kings decide to not move forward with him, and immediately the Houston Rockets, what do the Houston Rockets want with this guy right now? So did the Kings make a mistake there? Now, the idea of Kings hitting on every undrafted free agent that ever exists is probably not going to be the case, but I was surprised that the Rockets picked this guy up as quickly as they did. So we'll reveal who that is to you. If you already know, you can spoil it in the chat. That's fine. And you can call in 916-339-1140. Nick Kurtz goes crazy, and he does something that Major League Baseball has never seen before. And there's a real chance he might beat Jacob Wilson for Rookie of the Year. I mean, there's a real chance at it. The A's, they won a series over the weekend, they are trying to find their way as the Giants are completely allergic to winning baseball games. I thought, oh, man, we're going to go on Saturday. We're going to bring some good vibes out from Sacramento. Not the case. Not the case. And now people are talking about Jung-Hoo Lee's double, how it would have been a home run in every other ballpark. Is it time to start the discussion about changing the dimensions at Oracle Park? Why? Why do this to yourself, Oracle Park? Why? You got what they call it. Obviously, everybody jokes about the Yankees Okay. And not enough people joke about the Red Sox. They have a tiny right field as well. Of course, we talk about the Yankees. You got Cincinnati. It's Great American Ballpark. They call it Great American Small Park because everything flies out of there. You got the Rockies, who the Rockies still stink, but you can hit a bunch of home runs there. Why does Oracle Park do this to themselves? And I get it. Both teams have to play there, but you lose that game. And Jung-Hoo Lee would have easily had a home run in every other ballpark. So we'll discuss whether or not something should change there. Christian Wilkins, released by the Raiders. There was allegedly a quote-unquote very weird incident that happened. Jacina Anderson reported on that, and the Raiders are not really scrambling. They just essentially felt like that wasn't the main reason they moved on from him, but that was something that they just wanted to go ahead and just take care of and move on from. And yes, it is time for Skinny Luka. He is on the cover of Men's Health. There have been rumors. He is basically launching Luka. It's hot Luka summer. That's what this is, because we've been hearing about it. He's going to sign. He's doing his Jordan tour, and it starts this week, hot Luka summer. So basically, he's on the cover of Men's Health. He's telling people that his vert is higher, which is it or not, I don't know. It doesn't matter because it's Luka summer. He's saying what he wants to say. While doing the Jordan tour, I believe it's early August when he will be in LA. So a lot of people are just kind of reading the tea leaves and believing that when he is in LA for the Jordan brand, for that tour, that is when he will sign that extension. It's just all very LA. This whole thing is LA. I'm in LA now, so I'm going to get skinny because it's LA. And now we're going to do our brand tour. And that is when it's all very calculated with Luka, which I don't mind. You know, you got a huge brand, you may as well use it. So we'll discuss what that means for the rest of the league. And are we sleeping on the Lakers? I know, Kyle, you have them slated higher than I have had them. I've tried to, throw in some other teams ahead of them. But with Skinny Luka, and by the way, LeBron posted on his Instagram, year 23 on the way. So are we sleeping on the Lakers? But we got to start here, of course. Everything that we represent, everything that we become, everything that we do, all begins with a simple thought. Be very diligent in guarding your thoughts. It is the thoughts and intents of the mind and heart that ultimately shape and mold us into the person we become. Hashtag Monday Motivation. And the first picture under the Monday Motivation is a GIF of Jonathan Kaminga when he was drafted. Monday Motivation. That was from Scott Perry, of course, as he posts that. And I'm going to need you to stop doing that, Kyle, because we want Scott Perry on the show.
Again, it's not about Scott Perry. It's about the concept of Monday Motivation.
I like it. I like it, Scott Perry. Thank you very much. And we are off. So let's just go right into it. Okay, this came out. Let me double check the time on this one. 9:54 p.m. from Matt George, ABC 10, and of course, Locked On Kings. On the Kings Russell Westbrook front, obviously earlier, what was that? It was the same day, right? Yesterday when Dave quote tweeted Bovada. I think it was NBA Central, and Dave said it'd be 80-20, he thinks, as far as Russell Westbrook becoming a Sacramento King. I've said my thought process is that maybe the holdup is playing time. Others are saying maybe the holdup is Kaminga, which I thought the Kings weren't that deep in on Kaminga, so why would he be holding it up? So with all that being said, Matt George is sharing some intel with us, and he does at about 10 o'clock last night. And here is the post on the Kings/Russell Westbrook front. Both parties have been talking and have had mutual interest since free agency began. That's been well known. From what I gather, the Kings are still looking to move a player like Devin Carter or Malik Monk before they can bring Westbrook in. The Kings have a log jam at the guard position and very little financial flexibility to work with. So that's from Matt George. And at the very least, we can sit here and say that the Kings are self-aware of their guard situation. And it's not really an assumption. It's the truth. We know that they are trying to move on from Devin Carter in that Kaminga conversation. So you would move on from Devin Carter, bring in Kaminga. So now you're missing one guard, or you're down a guard. So now you're only down to 15 guards on the roster. And then you bring in Russell Westbrook. Very simple. Now, whether or not they'll be able to pull that off, which right now the Kings, by the way, yeah. If you were on Kings Twitter, apparently people didn't like that Keon discussion that we had, and it blew up, man.
I really just be chilling for real.
I was at River Cats getting just flame on Fantastic Four. Everybody likes Fantastic Four. I was getting flame, so of course I had to throw some gasoline on it. Of course I did.
So you got, I think it was like 150,000 impressions or something on it.
Yeah.
When De'Aaron Fox got traded, you were your rumors about what they were going to get in a trade package for Fox did the same amount as this. Like, people just got so mad.
So if, in case you were running around on Friday, I know Fridays, people taking vacations, people getting paid. Hopefully you did, and you can treat yourself. So this is what happened. All right. So we had a conversation on this show about Keon Ellis. And basically I said, is Keon Ellis, if Kaminga is your guy, I'm not saying to trade Kaminga or trade Keon Ellis for Kaminga. I'm saying if he's your guy, as the Kings are still at the table, should Keon Ellis be the reason you don't get Jonathan Kaminga if you think Jonathan Kaminga is going to be a superstar or has that potential? If you don't, then walk away from the table. It's all fine and good. That's very simple to me. That's what I said. I go on social media and everybody is talking about, you can't trade Keon. You can't trade Keon. So then I decide to throw some gasoline on it. And I say, so you're telling me the 6th or 7th man on a team set at 34.5 wins is untouchable? Okay, got it. Obviously, I knew what I was doing. And the amount of times people said, this is a straw man argument. The reason I said it, though, is because people were talking about, this is as bad as Luka. This is as bad as De'Aaron Fox. And I just needed to kind of cool people. Now, it didn't cool people off as far as I'm concerned, but let's just be a little bit more realistic here. This is what fans do, okay, with players that they like, homegrown players. Let's just make a clear distinction that this is about how you personally, whoever you are, don't believe in Jonathan Kaminga, right? Versus how you believe in Keon Ellis. That's fine. But when we start throwing around the hyperbole of Luka stuff and De'Aaron Fox stuff, that's why I said I'll be the martyr and just let's just make sure this untouchable conversation is not going too far. So that was my Friday.
Yeah, I was sort of paying attention to all that, but I kind of caught up Saturday morning and I texted you. I was like, wow, it seems like you really got people upset. And then you got Dunk Central.
Yeah.
And it was a lot.
It was a
weird Friday.
It was a lot, but you know, we're built for it. And if I have to be the reckoning out here in Sacramento when I'm doing it so you're not getting laughed at by other fan bases talking about losing Keon to Kaminga is the same as missing out on Luka for Marvin Bagley. I will be that person because y'all don't want other people to see this. I promise you. I promise you.
Look, I understand the emotional connection to Keon Ellis. I think that professional sports want to have more stories like this of undrafted to two-way player to last guy on the bench to backup to now starting two guard, all with the same organization. Those are the types of players you're supposed to get invested in. The great story. This is what, you know, back in the day, back when sports used to have like you know, syrupy these were the types of stories people tried to sell you of like, this is the type of person you're supposed to root for. And so I understand wanting to have the emotional connection to it, but like, let's not pretend that he's not also like kind of going to be a backup this year and has 1 year away from reaching free agency.
So that was a lot of the responses, right? Well, he's only 6th or 7th because the organization won't put him in a good position. And the argument is that he should be starting. Okay, how much better are the Kings if he starts?
Also, like, the argument of the organization doesn't put their players in a position to succeed.
Yeah.
Yes. You can say that about every player on the team, essentially.
Right.
The organization is not putting any of them, even the good ones. Like, even Zach LaVine is not put in the best position to succeed. And that's crazy given how much they gave up to get him.
So it was a very fun Friday. You know, I kind of relish in this stuff. And the funniest part was with the River Cats, it was Christmas in July. So people are freaking out, MFing me, all this stuff. Meanwhile, I'm walking around with a Christmas hat on and a hot dog cannon as we're doing promotion, you know, doing the events at River Cats.
Yeah, while you're playing hat shuffle on the scoreboard.
Literal hat shuffle with Santa hats, and I muted it because people are saying, screw you, you know what you're doing, you straw man, all this stuff. And I'm just sitting there saying, who wants a softy ball?
And
who wants a softy ball?
You're playing the hat shuffle and throwing plush toys into the crowd.
Yeah. Running around with Dinger, who wants a softy ball? And I go in my mentions, I'll find you. I will find you. They better not trade Keon.
For Kaminga.
Or Kaminga or anybody.
Or else it'll be Marvin Bagley.
Man.
I say Marvin Bagley 2.0, but Marvin Bagley is like the 6th version of Marvin Bagley.
This would be a monumental failure. So that was Friday. Getting back to those that I guess everybody is okay with the Kings moving off of, Devin Carter and Malik Monk. My biggest question, based on what Matt George put out, my biggest question is, this happened with Kevin Huerter and this happened with Harrison Barnes, right? Once your name starts getting brought up, it never really stops, right? What are the situations, even if it's not this season, it could be next season, it could be whenever it is, this person will not be on the team. I don't know. I would say within the next 2 years, once this stuff starts heating up. We've seen it all around the league. The only person that has beat these allegations is Jeremy Grant. And that's because I don't know if anybody now wants the Jeremy Grant contract. Whether it's Cam Johnson, obviously it didn't happen immediately. But the dudes out there in Toronto, what happened with Pascal and OG? Cam Johnson, the Jazz offloaded all their guys, John Collins, Colin Sexton, all these guys. Once your name starts getting brought up, it is only a matter of time. We watched it with Harrison Barnes. We watched it with Kevin Huerter. It was only a matter of time. So now that we're seeing it, now it might not be both of them, but now that we're seeing this time and time again with Devin Carter, with Malik Monk, I don't know if it will be both of them, but now that this thing is coming out over and over and over again, it is obvious that it's time for us to understand that Devin Carter will not be on this roster, I don't know, within the next 2 years. Devin Carter, I'll rephrase that. Devin Carter and Malik Monk. One of them is going to be gone because this stuff doesn't keep coming up and it never goes away. It might get delayed. And the Russell Westbrook thing, if Dave is saying it's 80-20, then I don't know how. I guess you do the Terrence Davis thing. That's the other conversation. But from what Matt George is reporting, they don't want to do the Terrence Davis thing because they don't, again, as we've discussed, Russ doesn't want to play 12 minutes a game. Now, I don't think moving on from Devin Carter gets Russ I don't think moving on from either of them, maybe Malik, would get Russ to 25 a night. Maybe. So in that case, I don't see how even moving off of Devin Carter actually helps per se, because Devin, only in his second year, he could ride the bench. Malik Monk at $18 million, he can't ride the bench. So number one of these guys is not going to be on the roster by the time this season ends. That's clear to me. This stuff just doesn't happen and go away. Number two, I don't know why it would be unless you've had the conversation with Russ and he's okay, you move on from Devin Carter. I don't really know how much that's helping. How much time do we think Devin Carter is going to play this season? Okay, give those minutes to to Russell Westbrook. I don't know how much time that is. So I read this and I think, all right, one of these guys are gone. It's just a matter of time. Possibly both of them. It's not as if they need to keep on to hold on to one of them.
Oh, okay. I guess I'd preface it by this question, though, in terms of Westbrook. Do you think there's ever a situation this year where Dennis Schroeder and Russell Westbrook are going to be playing on the floor together?
I think so. Yeah, they're not necessarily. Russ is like he's like a changeling. He can whatever he needs to do. He can be a two. Now he can't really shoot, but he can sit in the corner, right? He can he can play like a very, very small forward. So I think we could see it for whatever reason.
Yeah, and Schroeder played 2 in Detroit, so like they would figure it out. I guess I just look at it like if they're not going to be playing together all that often, then wouldn't they kind of be fighting with each other for minutes when we're talking about the point guard position?
That's what I initially thought too.
And if so, I guess maybe you're making the argument, if you have 2 point guards, why do you also need 3 combo guards? Right. I guess.
I mean, and Matt George is basically saying they don't.
Or at least they look at it that way.
Right. Russ can be a chameleon. He can definitely change based on what the team needs of him. It's just from, and honestly, just a locker room standpoint, Devin Carter already a little bit behind the 8 ball, being an older second-year guy who had those injuries. Now he's already fighting. You brought in Nick Clifford. He's already fighting for time. Malik Monk, maybe they feel as if, look, Malik had an opportunity. If Malik played better, we wouldn't be as a point guard, which he's just simply not a point guard, but he can play make. If Malik played better, we got to look up Malik in B-ball index, by the way.
You want his defense?
No, didn't you? And it said what, secondary ball handler?
Oh yeah, secondary ball handler is his position. Yeah,
Malik. They might be feeling as if, look, Malik, we don't need more combo guards that can't really play defense, unfortunately. So we like Malik, but it kind of is what it is. And Malik had an opportunity to lock up that point guard position last season, and he didn't. So we don't feel comfortable moving forward with him there. And we have too much redundancy at the same position. Now, are they going to be able to move off of him and get value? I don't know. But that's essentially where we're at. 4 hours with you. Let's keep the conversation going. 916-339-1140. Devin or Malik out. Westbrook in. Allen Stiles, Show on Sports.
Pro Savings Days are back at Lowe's. Right now, get a 4-piece GE kitchen suite for under $2,000. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt max XR 8-amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt tool. Save big with deals that work as hard as you do. Shop Pro Savings Days in-store or online today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 8/1. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Mocash, Vincent Mason, and Averyana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Sponsored by the California Army National Guard and Hot Valley Brewing. Tickets at CITPFest.com.
Pro Savings Days are back at Lowe's. Right now, get a 4-piece GE kitchen suite for under $2,000. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt max XR 8-amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt tool. Save big with deals that work as hard as you do. Shop Pro Savings Days in-store or online today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 8/1. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Everybody knows that Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is the spot to get yourself a brand new car. That's why people are coming from all over. Folsom, Elk Grove, Woodland, Roseville. But they also have the best selection of pre-owned vehicles. All makes and models, every one of them top quality, hand-selected by General Manager Chuck Dean. Over 70 vehicles below $30,000, over 25 below $20,000. You can see that full lineup at SacSuperstore.com. And if you find a lower price somewhere else, they'll match it. And on top of that, the best car buying experience anywhere. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Devin or Malik out, Westbrook in. That is what may be the case for the Sacramento Kings. This is from Matt George. On the Kings, Russell Westbrook front, both parties have been talking and have had mutual interest since free agency began. That's been well known from what I gather. The Kings are still looking to move a player like Devin Carter or Malik Monk before they can bring Westbrook in. The Kings have a logjam at the guard position, very little financial flexibility to work with. So again, what Devin's making compared to what Malik's making, Devin's assumed minutes to Malik's assumed minutes. Again, this is all my thought process. It feels more, and let's just say it, types of players, right? I know Devin is nowhere near Malik offensively, nowhere. But defensively, what this team is trying to build their foundation on, you could say Devin is a type of player that Doug Christie and Scott Perry at least continue to tell us that they would want over maybe a Malik Monk. Now, somebody got to score the basketball. Don't get me wrong, because you got Keon, Devin, Russell Westbrook,
Clifford,
Dennis Schroeder, Neek Clifford. Yeah, you got defense, but somebody's got to put the biscuit in the basket. But clearly, the Kings don't think that's going to be much of an issue if they don't move on from DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. So I look at what Matt says, and he specifically writes like Devin Carter or Malik Monk before they can bring Westbrook in. So it's almost as if there might even be another conversation. The only one we know about is Jonathan Kaminga and Devin Carter. We don't know about any other Malik Monk stuff going on here, but according to Matt, they're not going to, or they don't think they're going to bring Westbrook in until one of those guys are gone. So I don't necessarily know what the thought process is, if it's connected to Kaminga. Obviously, Devin Carter has been offered in that Kaminga package. That's the only thing that we know about. So I'm trying to figure out what else? And I got some texts out and trying to get some information. Is there another conversation being had? Is this something, I don't know what Westbrook's market is. Is this something that might go into the season? Is this something that they want to take care of before the season starts? Is there another potential move that the Kings are discussing that involves Malik Monk or Devin Carter? And that's the other part of this. I don't think anybody would argue bringing in, I wouldn't say anybody, because there are some people out there that really do like what they've seen from Devin Carter. I don't think there's a lot of people out there, though, that would argue Devin Carter. I want to keep Devin Carter instead of bringing in Westbrook. I think for a lot of reasons. A lot of people grew up on Westbrook. A lot of people just want a Kings Westbrook jersey. I think a lot of people would be okay with moving on from Devin Carter for Russell Westbrook. Now, when that name turns into Malik Monk, now the conversation changes. Malik Monk, on the other hand, based on this money, when we brought up Malik Monk to Brett Siegel said this is not a situation where the Warriors aren't interested in Malik Monk because of the current situation with how much money they can bring back for Jonathan Kaminga. They just don't look at it as a very good contract period for them, because they don't want anything past the 2 years. Malik Monk, in general, I don't think is viewed as a bad contract, but it feels like a lot of these teams that are interested, nobody is looking at this contract saying we're going to have Malik for the next 3 years. I think we believe, and that's why I said if Malik gets moved, he might start his Dennis Schroeder phase of his career where he could be on 3 different teams in the next 3 years, because it's not a lot of money to spend for a year, but teams aren't out there trying to invest or keep really anybody. It's not even a Malik thing. Anybody for 3 years, even at a shade under 20 mil, unless you're doing specific things that translates very well in the NBA right now. And right now, Malik just kind of being a bucket getter. I just think that there are a lot of people out there or a lot of players out there that the league feels like could be Malik Monk or can do Malik Monk type of stuff.
Well, and it's interesting, too, because we know Detroit was connected to Malik Monk at the beginning, and they were also a team interested in free agency. But you look at Detroit right now, it's now they have Duncan Robinson and Caris LeVert, and they're bringing back Jaden Ivey from injury. I don't think they need Malik Monk anymore. So if that ship has sailed, it's just who's the team this late in the game that is, unless they're trying to just move off of a contract, who is the team this late in the game that is going to try and go after Malik Monk? I feel like once unless the Kings are going to attach something to Malik
Which sounds crazy. How do you go from we got Malik on a bargain to having to attach something to get off of Malik Monk's contract in a year where he averaged the most points in his career?
Because that's the cost of getting Jonathan Kaminga? ? That seems to be the explanation that they're making, is that in order to add Jonathan Kaminga and add Russell Westbrook, all of a sudden you have to clear out your logjam of guards and, in theory, give Golden State something that they want, although, it seems like Golden State might not get that from any team at this point.
No, it doesn't seem like that to be the case. The team that keeps coming up, and again, nobody's going to want who you would get back, but I still feel like the Bucks might be that team that is trying to convince Giannis to stay, and I think that would tick people off even more, Kuzma for Malik. But that would be, and I don't believe you would bring in Kuzma and Kaminga. But, Kuzma wouldn't be starting.
Unless you moved both DeRozan and Malik. Well, one way or another, you're going to have to move Malik to a third team or DeRozan to a third team if you're going to pay Kaminga $25 million.
Right. One of them has to go. That's why the Devin, So basically, and this actually brings up another point obviously the Kings aren't trying to completely flip their roster. Does it almost feel like there's too much going on in a way? Even when I'm sitting here trying to discuss it and somebody is on the text line saying, Alan, can you talk about the possible DeRozan handshake that you brought up, which was just my opinion, but that's part of the Kaminga thing. So I do wonder, it's not as if they're trying to do too much because nothing is being done, really. There's just been a lot of smoke. All they've actually done this offseason is they've drafted and they brought in Dennis Schroeder. But the rumor mill has been insane, and it's almost like that, what is it? That Horrible Bosses or Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I think it's Horrible Bosses, where he's looking at the board and there's just a bunch of strings and, different different situations, but nothing has actually happened. So to me, the DeRozan thing is strictly Kaminga. DeRozan, to me, has nothing to do with Russell Westbrook. So anything that happens with DeMar DeRozan is connected to whether or not the Kings get Jonathan Kaminga. Why that is connected to Russell Westbrook is because if the Kings are able to convince the Warriors to take their deal and to take Devin Carter, Dario Saric, a protected first, whatever it is, for Kaminga, then the Kings would move off of DeMar DeRozan, I believe, and also they would be a guard down, which would allow them to now bring in Russell Westbrook. That's how it all connects.
Yeah, I sure feel like I'm in the Charlie Day meme where he's doing that. Because, Dave mentioned it this morning. The easiest path is they have the mid-level exception.
Yes.
Just give Westbrook the mid-level exception, waive Terrence Davis, kumbaya, let's go.
They don't want to spend the cash.
I mean, it's partially not spending the cash, but it's also, once you do that, you're not getting Kaminga, and you're not getting one of these other players. So, well, and then there's the Westbrook minutes thing, which I think we might be talking about a little too much, but is a factor. But
I think it's definitely a factor if you don't move off of Devin. If you do what Dave said and just do Terrence and bring in Westbrook, that's just too much. Terrence wasn't playing.
Sure, I get that. And they would essentially at that point have a 9-guard lineup, which they have right now, but if you switch Westbrook for Terrence Davis, you would literally have a 9-guard lineup.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the easiest answer, but it locks you into this group unless you're doing the aforementioned DeRozan for Terry Rozier in 2 seconds, or DeRozan for Kyle Kuzma, or Malik Monk for Kyle Kuzma, or whatever else people have been throwing out to balance the roster.
When we return, Kevin Smith, Spot Track, disagrees with the Kings moving on from this two-way player. Who is it? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Oh, I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
The Giant Summer Sale is here. Get giant savings on our Giant selection only at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save during the Honda Summer Event and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. See all our specials at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, by his standards, Lawrence Butler isn't having the kind of season he expected, but still, Lawrence is just 25, and he's only played the equivalent of 2.5 seasons in the minor leagues. And now he's on a pace to become the first athletic since Coco Chris back in 2013 to go 20-20, 20 homers and 20 stolen bases. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. It's how retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And it's how healthcare offices become data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business.
At Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, we're all about summer smiles. During July, we're having our Summer Smiles special with $300 off braces or Invisalign with no money down if you start treatment in July. And you'll have a chance to win Legoland tickets. Go to kidscaredental.com for more information.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140
on Sacktown Sports.
Isaiah Crawford. There was a real Isaiah Crawford hive. A lot of people liked what they saw from the guy. Good size on him. Could do some things offensively. But the Kings decided to withdraw their two-way qualifying offer for Isaiah Crawford, which allowed Crawford to become an unrestricted free agent. And he signed a two-way contract with the Houston Rockets. And that is a bit surprising to me, just because the Rockets just seems like they have bigger fish to fry. They got Kevin Durant. They have obviously all their young talent. So I read that and I thought, man, maybe, and it's funny how you have a couple good seasons and all of a sudden what you do gets viewed at differently, but maybe the Kings are missing out on something with Isaiah Crawford. He's 23 years old, goes 6'6", so he is one of those kind of more classic wings. Obviously, did not get a ton of time this past season. Most of the time he was with Stockton, and somebody responds to Keith Smith of Spa Track, and they say, seems odd. Crawford put up great all-around numbers in the G League with efficiency last season. Why wouldn't Sac want him back on another two-way? Keith Smith's response, I've learned for my own mental health to stop trying to figure out why Sacramento does a lot of the things they do.
That is great advice.
It really, I mean, and yeah, he almost got, more interaction from that tweet than the initial tweet about Isaiah Crawford, because a lot of people were chiming in.
You know what? I think we should probably take some advice from Keith Smith. Our mental health would all probably be better.
And I mean, on this side of things, it is a bit random as to why the King he's still got, you can run out of two-way years, but he still has it. He goes to Summer League. He's been with the squad. Does that mean that they liked somebody else more or wanted to keep roster flexibility down in Stockton? It is a bit bizarre to me and bizarre timing. And I do think it speaks to his potential that the Houston, immediately he got scooped up. Immediately.
Well, I think this was one of those situations where, they had kind of it's a qualifying offer. So, his agent can go out and find others. And then they went back to the Kings and said, hey, we got another offer, and the Kings were like, okay, see ya.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time. Best of luck to you kind of situation.
Yeah.
Which a lot of guys in that situation don't get offered by other teams, but when you're the defending G League champion Stockton Kings,
True.
You've got a lot of players that maybe other teams would value.
That's true. And he's not obviously one of the older statesmen or elder statesmen. He's, 23 years old. And it does go to the point of what you do in the G League and what you do in Summer League. It obviously matters, right? Who would have thought that? And I talked to a couple scouts out there in Vegas, but this is what these guys do, right? We're always thinking about the big club and who's going to be starting and that rotation. And obviously that's what we're going to spend most of our time on. But there are scouts for once you are in the league, not only when you get drafted, but there are scouts for once you are in the league to keep an eye on and say, hey, I think this person has a level of potential, or I think this person doesn't have a level of potential, whatever the case may be. So that's it for Isaiah Crawford, at least for right now, his time in Sacramento. And we spoke with him because he had a pretty good game. I think that was the second game that Saturday when I was out there. So he did the post game, and he was talking about how Isaac Jones had really shown him a lot, and Isaac Jones getting that contract, and obviously Keon Ellis. So he said those were kind of inspirations to him and made him feel good about his chances of making something happen. Now on the other side, you got 3 guys undrafted, right? And the idea that all 3 of them are going to be legit NBA players, highly unlikely. But with that being said, it does seem as if, and other teams have a bunch of players bouncing around. I'm not saying it's just the Kings, but with that being said, it does seem as if the Kings, one thing with Monty McNair and Wes Wilcox now gone, does seem like they did have a fairly good eye for just guys that they think they'll be able to develop. Because again, you make these moves. When in the heck is he going to play? It's not as if he went to the Nets and you never know, right? You had Drew Timme show up and play for the Nets. He ain't doing nothing on the Rockets, but they still thought he's got enough potential where we at least want him in the building.
I think it might just be as simple as the Kings only have one two-way spot left, right? Because one of them went to Dylan Cardwell and one of them went to Isaiah Stevens. So they're probably going to wait until training camp to give out that last spot. And if you're Isaiah Crawford, would you rather go into training camp and fight for a two-way spot or take the two-way spot that's already being offered to you by Houston? I don't think, again, these are two-way contracts. I don't think Houston really offers some grand potential that Sacramento doesn't. It's just he had an offer on the table now instead of an offer on the table later.
Right, but you also just said that a lot of times these guys don't have other offers. And he did.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. So happy trails to Isaiah Crawford.
I look at it as great for him, right? Maybe the Kings were going to bring him back. Maybe they were going to have him be a G Leaguer, but ultimately good for him. He's going to get to be on an NBA roster next season. It just happened to not be Sacramento. And maybe the third person, again, there's such a small chance they're ever going to be able to contribute, but maybe the third two-way contract the Kings hand out will be just as good as Isaiah Crawford. But I'm happy for him that he got a two-way deal from someone.
A couple of these texts to read through from the 415. Please, no Westbrook. Well, you better watch him out, 415. Because if he comes out here, we got to shut that down. Can't do it.
The ice cold player of the game is going to come back.
Put all that to the side. We cannot call him that. I shouldn't have even said it on the air. Okay.
West
Bleep. And this person, really does not. The 415 really does not want Westbrook. So we're waiting how the order of operations is going to go down. That's kind of the biggest question mark right now. Another 916 says, so why so much hate for Monk? He took less to stay, and he's been nothing but great for the Kings. I don't know where you're hearing or seeing hate from the 916. It's just this is the name that keeps coming up. And clearly they do not want to be, the Kings do not want to be in the Malik Monk business for the next couple of years. And the other thing to remember when it comes to Malik Monk, they didn't give him that contract. Scott Perry didn't give him that contract. Monty McNair gave him that contract. And the types of players, and it does go up. Now that you look at it, it's at 18.7 going into this season, okay? 20.1 going into next 2 years from now. Then there's a player option for 21.5. I still don't think it's earth-shattering money, relatively speaking, but it's enough money that the Warriors don't want to be involved with it. The Warriors are a different case because they don't want anybody past that kind of 2-year mark, but other teams seem to not necessarily think that Malik is somebody that they want on their team for the next 3 years. As of right now, all it takes is one team, but that's just what it is. There's no hate for Malik Monk. This is just a name that continues to come up. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with Malik Monk. Malik Monk is my favorite player on the team. I've said it 1,000 times. The problem is the roster construction. If you went and got, and even Neek, they don't play the same positions, but you got Keon, you got Devin, we've been over this. Then you throw in Neek as well. If they had went with, I don't know, some 6'9", 6'10", straight up 4, and then you take Maxime, maybe we wouldn't be having this conversation. But taking Neek, it's just a log jam. There's been a log jam. Then they added Neek, who is bigger than them, but still is more guardy than big wingy, if you will. So it's just a matter of roster construction, and Scott Perry is looking around. And again, it's Devin or Neek, or Devin or Malik. That's what it is. I think that obviously you move on from Malik and it gives you more financial flexibility, but it's not really, it's just one of them. They're just saying one of them has to go.
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of been the argument everyone's been making from the beginning. It's just strange that it's July 28th and that all 4 guys are still on the team.
Yeah.
Even after all that. I think even beyond the money itself, if you look at like cap percentages, I think Malik Monk makes up like 12 or 13% of the cap.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if you're going to be paying 2 max players and not going into the luxury tax, then making $20 million a year has to be your 4th highest paid player, right? And right now, Malik Monk is the 4th highest paid player on the Kings. But when you factor in a Keegan Murray contract extension and Zach LaVine and Domantas Sabonis being on the team for the long term, you know, you kind of look around and say, can we upgrade from Malik Monk? If this money has to go to our 4th best player, can we find an upgrade from Malik Monk as our 4th best player? And I think the only scenario they would consider moving him, to the 916's point, is for a Jonathan Kaminga. I have no idea if Jonathan Kaminga will be the 4th best player on the Kings if he shows up here, but they're making the calculation that Jonathan Kaminga is more worthwhile giving that money to as your 4th best player.
When we return, Carmichael Dave says there's an 80-20 chance Russell Westbrook will be a King. We also discuss what Hoops Hype Sam Amico has to say about the newest on Jonathan Kaminga. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
If you didn't think skipping breakfast was a big deal, you'd be right. Before. But now, Wendy's has Buck Biscuits. We're talking sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, or even the Honey Buddy chicken biscuit for just $1 each. Seriously, you can get all 3 if you want. They're just $1, so you'll never skip breakfast again. If you're smart. Breakfast for $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in a combo while supplies last.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Locash, Vincent Mason, and Abriana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Sponsored by the California Army National Guard and Hot Valley Brewing. Tickets at CITPfest.com.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal, you should feel better about that. Or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9998 now.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is, live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sacktown Sports 1140.
The summer sale down at Maida Chevy. Save $4,250 off MSRP. Every new Colorado Z71, ZR2, and Trail Boss in stock.
See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Must be current cost with Gold Star Business or Exempted member. Can't be combined with other offers.
Your local sports leader in the 916.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento. KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sacktown Sports 1140.
Live and local.
It's Allen Stiles
on Sacktown Sports.
Taking you up to 2 p.m. We are about to get down and dirty in another 30-minute commercial-free extravaganza here on the Allen Stiles Show at the top of every hour. A lot of Malik talk, a lot of Devin Carter talk, a lot of Westbrook talk. We also have some Kaminga updates for you. Carmichael Dave set the world on fire yesterday, the Westbrook world, if you will, when Bovada, NBA Central, did their typical Bovada post, and they said the Sacramento Kings are the favorites to win the Russell Westbrook sweepstakes. The Minnesota Timberwolves at plus 1,000. The New Orleans Pelicans at plus 900, the Dallas Mavericks at plus 800, the Miami Heat at plus 600, the Milwaukee Bucks at plus 400, the New York Knicks at plus 350, and the Sacramento Kings at plus 150. The best odds to win the Russell Westbrook sweepstakes, they are calling it. And Carmichael Dave then quote tweeted it and said, and they should be. It's not done, but it's been cooking for a while, and there is strong interest from both sides. I'd say 80-20, he's a king. So what would that 20 be? What would that other 20 be? Could that 20 be the playing time stuff? Could that 20 be just a roster construction? And here's the other question. If they can't move on from one of their current guards, do they just still bring him in anyway? Do they do the Terrence Davis thing and just bring him in and figure it out later? I think that would be a very bad idea. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that would be a very, very bad idea. We know that Russell Westbrook has a really strong personality and how things have happened. Some of it's been his fault. Some of it's not been his fault. It is what it is. But I do not see, if you don't move on from one of those guys, I just think that it could end up being a nightmare, to be completely honest with you. Malik Monk not getting time, Russell Westbrook not getting time, Devin Carter not getting time, whatever the case may be. I just don't see that as a really, really good situation for the parties involved. And my fear is that maybe too much, they're trying to do too much for, it's just a bunch of nothing, right? There's a video where, and people will use it to make fun of whoever the case is, when it looks like they're doing something and they're really not doing anything. And it's this bartender that is, it appears, those plastic cups when you go to an all-inclusive because they don't want you running around with glass. So it's a bartender, and he's kind of just shaking his head a lot as he seems to be, I don't know, putting sugar and water into about 4 or 5 cups, but it's just really a bunch of nothing. He's not really doing anything. I don't want to compare the Kings getting Russell Westbrook to that, but what I am comparing that to is what's happening right now, as there's just a lot of talk about Kaminga and a lot of talk about Westbrook, but nothing is actually happening. Nothing is actually happening. And when it does happen, if they don't move on from Devin Carter or obviously Malik Monk, there's just going to be some unhappy campers. That's just it, and Malik Monk, make no bones about it. We know that he's kind of been the guy. Malik just wants to win, and he took a pay cut, and he doesn't mind if he doesn't start. Hold on now. Let's reel back what Malik said during those exit pressers. Malik Monk didn't say he was okay coming off the bench. Malik Monk said he was more comfortable at the 2. That's what he said. He did not sit up there and say, yeah, I think, we need to bring in a point guard so I can back him up and do this, that, and the third. No, Malik Monk said, I feel more comfortable at the 2. And we still don't necessarily know why Malik never was re-entered into the starting lineup. That just didn't get talked about. Malik was injured. Malik was starting. He got injured. He came back. He was coming off the bench, and then he got injured again. So there was really no conversation, and they really got an opportunity to hide behind the injury when Malik came back, and we never really knew, hey, is Malik a 6 man now, or is Keon a start? What's going on here?
I think they were also got that answer. I think they were also on a road trip, so no one was really there to ask them about it.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Doug did answer it at some point, but I think it was very vague. And at that point,
it's not
they're
about
losing games.
Starts.
Yeah, no, he didn't say that, but it was something to the effect of, we're working Malik back, something like that, because it was early on. Then they just kept him coming off the bench, even after it had been a certain amount of time.
And then he got hurt.
And then they still weren't winning games, even with him coming off of the bench.
Well, they won that one game in Detroit.
And that one Cavs game.
Yeah, that one Cavs game where Trey Lyles played 41 minutes.
That one Cavs game when the Cavs lost to everyone that week, by the way.
Yeah, when I think I was still thinking the Cavs were going to go to the finals back then.
So let's not pretend as if Malik Monk is just good with whatever. The dude wants his minutes. He feels like he's earned his minutes. Malik, whether they were besties or not, De'Aaron Fox is gone now. So all these guys just keep coming into the fold and kind of leapfrogging Malik Monk. And he said, I probably feel more comfortable at the 2. He did not say, I feel more comfortable as a 6-man. He did not say that. 916-339-1140. Let's go to Pool Guy Mark, wants to be part of the convo. What's up, Pool Guy Mark? What you got for us?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
I just want to know how Westbrook and Schroeder are like a recipe for sustained success.
Yeah.
Like, this is just crazy. I mean, the one thing that I've heard on the last few shows that made sense is like being a Kings fan is just not good for your mental health. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just really frustrating. I look at this and I'm like, what is this, year 4 now that we don't have anybody like at the 3/4 besides Keegan? It's like we're maybe thinking about getting rid of some young guards to get an old guard. I mean, if this goes down, I don't know. I'm just gonna kind of lose faith in this whole thing. I mean, none of this makes sense. I mean, they have a good draft that kind of makes sense, and then now they're talking about a bunch of old guys that don't really play defense. Like, where are they going to be 2 years from now? I know. Just somebody talk me off the ledge here. I want to have a vision. I want to have faith.
Look, Pool Guy Mark, you know me, and thanks for the call. I don't know that I'm the one to talk you off the ledge. The only thing I can say is there's always next season. And Kyle's
it hasn't even started yet.
No, but what I mean by that, I don't mean that the Kings are going to be bad per se. What I mean is that the young guns and moving in that younger player direction, what I keep telling myself is we all knew, or I wouldn't say we all knew, but the idea of quote unquote going all in for 1 year I can see why they're doing it this way. This is why I keep bringing up the idea of the pro bono work and Scott Perry doing this to make his boss happy. This is why I keep bringing it up. Now, I do think Scott Perry probably just likes Westbrook, but this is all why I keep saying this is a season where blowing it up was, I believe, like, highly encouraged, right? It's not as if or saving it was highly encouraged. It's not as if he wasn't allowed to blow it up. I'm sure he had autonomy, but it was highly encouraged for the Kings to try to remain competitive this season. I told you it was Christmas in July with the River Cats. On Friday, they had outfits for everyone, for all the cat crew. And they had a Santa hat for me. And it wasn't mandatory to wear this stuff, but it was highly encouraged.
Also, you don't have to ask you twice to do it.
No, I mean, I want to do it anyway.
You were happy to wear funny costumes.
But it was highly encouraged. Not mandatory, but encouraged. I'm not saying that it was mandatory for Scott Perry to keep this thing going. I'm saying it was probably highly encouraged. It was not a situation where he could come in and blow it up. So with that being said, I'm going to go all the bleeping way in if I'm Scott Perry. Give me Westbrook. It's almost as if he's trolling. I probably shouldn't say this, but it's almost as if he's trolling in a way. Okay, you want us to go all in? Here's Westbrook. We running it back. Here's Dennis Schroeder for 3 years. And when it doesn't work out, now we can do it my way, Mr. Vivek.
Sure, but it would be like cutting off your nose to spite your face.
But he's stuck anyway. If I'm stuck anyway, I'm going to let's bring all your other faves in. Let's bring all your faves in. We got Levine. We got DeMar DeRozan. You like Westbrook? Let's bring in Westbrook too. It bombs, okay? And then next season, we understand that it bombed, and we can move on.
Next season, you still have all those guys under contract, though.
DeMar would be non-guaranteed. Levine, we know fine, but at least it would be expiring at that point.
Schroeder
is tradable.
Westbrook,
that got to be a 1-year deal.
One in an option, I would guess.
One in an option. So
Westbrook can be like, thank you, I'm gone.
That's it. So let's just get through this season. Either it actually ends up working and we all look like geniuses and we get a 6th round and we get the playoff shirts. I saw somebody walking around. I think it was at the State Fair. I saw somebody walking around with the play-in shirt. What does it, Feel the Roar?
You want me to wear it tomorrow? I got mine.
They were walking around with that Feel the Roar. So let's do it your way. Let's bring in all your faves, Mr. Vivek. And when that doesn't work out, we can actually start this process.
Sacramento Kings, there's always next year.
There's always next year.
That reminded me of that one Family Guy joke with the Mets where he's like, opening day. I'll play it real quick.
Opening day, and here's the first pitch, and the season's over.
That's like when people say, basically it'll be the beginning of the season and you'll see a meme, the Sacramento Kings have been eliminated from playoff contention.
It's basically this.
Opening day, and here's the first pitch, and the season's over.
That's it.
That's the mantra for the Kings next year.
That's it.
Opening day, and here's the first pitch, and the season's over.
So
we joke, but that was literally the A's this year.
You sit there, you get through this season, maybe they surprise you, because I think I'm not necessarily that worried about the 9-10. I think even, I know, hey, well, what if they get to 9-10 and they rework it again? I think I'm annoyed about the 9-10 as far as the draft is concerned, but and that positioning for the draft, but I'm not worried about the 9-10 as far as Scott Perry thinking all we got to do is tweak 1 or 2 things. I might be wrong. I could be dead wrong. But me personally, I think that even if they're a 9 or 10 seed, if they don't get into the playoffs, of course, they lose in the play-in 9 or 10 seed, I think that Scott Perry would start to make more moves towards the process of going younger and rebuilding this thing. It would be annoying for the draft, but I don't think they would try to convince anybody else anymore, because that would be 3 years straight of 9-10 and getting clowned and people not understanding what exactly it is that you're attempting to do. So I don't believe that will be the case. I don't know that for a fact, of course, but I don't believe that would be the case. That's pretty much what I would say to Pool Guy Mark and to everybody else that's just, not feeling very good about it. Either they're going to exceed the expectations and we're all going to be really happy about that, or they're not. And then next season, everybody will, the process will then start. And then even if they're not that good next season, at the very least, you'd be able to sit there and say, hey, cool, Keon signed, Keegan signed, they're going to get more time. You still got Zach LaVine. Maybe you move off of Zach LaVine before the trade deadline because his contract is expiring. No harm, no foul. It just is what kind of needed to be done. The 916 is saying, the caller is talking about a bunch of old guys. You don't see him or anybody talking about the dang Clippers and their multiple old guys. Yeah, different old guys. I'd say different old guys.
One of those is a, you know what? Actually, I was going to make a point, but I actually have a better joke. The old guy on the Clippers is the guy Toronto traded for and gave up Sacramento's old guy, and Toronto won a championship with the Clippers' old guy, right? Yeah. The difference between Kawhi Leonard and DeMar DeRozan is literally a Toronto Raptors championship.
Yeah, that is funny.
We got the reject. We got the guy Toronto gave up on and immediately won a championship.
Well, and here's even if I wanted to play that game with the 916, the Clippers just were in the playoffs. And if not for, they were the dark horse sexy pick for the playoffs, and if not for running into the best player in the world in Jokic, who knows what happens there. So the Clippers didn't even have to mess around in the play-in. So I don't really know why you're comparing the Clippers to the Kings. The Kings were a 9 seed.
The Clippers have a guy who won an MVP, a guy who is a 2-time NBA Finals MVP, the Sacramento Kings have DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
Like there are levels to this thing.
If you're asking why people aren't talking about the Clippers the same way, I mean, just in the immediate, James Harden, he was all NBA.
Yeah, all NBA last year.
Kawhi, yeah, if you want to argue it was surprising that Kawhi stayed healthy, sure, I'd argue that because I was surprised, but he did. Even Derrick Jones Jr. Do you know how much people would just be salivating over a Derrick Jones Jr. on this team? And I understand we all like Keon and they're slightly different positions, but Derrick Jones Jr. is basically their Keon. But then they also have a Keon in Chris Dunn, who was slated as one of the best on-ball guard defenders in the league this past season. And oh, by the way, this is no disrespect, but Doug Christie is not viewed the same way Ty Lue is. Ty Lue is viewed as one of the top 5 coaches in the league. So there are very, very obvious reasons why the Clippers aren't being talked about the same as the Kings. And I don't know how many people think the Clippers are going to win the whole thing.
And I don't think the old guy strategy is inherently a bad thing. And honestly, historically speaking, it was more teams like the Clippers than more teams like the Thunder that used to win championships. Like getting older players in the door, even if it was a former MVP 7 years removed, that used to be the strategy, and it used to be a hugely effective strategy.
And they just got Bradley Beal for $4. They're paying Bradley Beal $4.
The Suns are paying him $54 million to play on the Clippers.
They're paying Bradley Beal $4. So and they got Drape's boy John Collins. So there's level. I understand kind of what you're saying, that they're elder statesmen, but that's a better roster.
To the same,
straight up.
You made the Derrick Jones point. How excited would Kings fans have been if they just got a Brook Lopez?
Yeah.
Right? Like Brook Lopez would have done enough to even get Kings fans excited. He's like the 10th guy on that team.
916-339-1140. Let's go to Javi, who wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Javi? What you got for us?
How you doing, Mr. Styles, Mr. Kyle? I have two things. It's so apparent that the Warriors and the Kings could have made a deal, but the Kings getting their own way again. Why would they just not keep Jonas Valanciunas, package him with whether it's Devin Carter, a backup, young, developmental project combo, shooting guard, point guard, or a score, microwave, points per game guy, Malik Monk, that can put up buckets at any given time. They need a starting caliber center. Dario Saric is a bum, lack of a better term. Jonas Valanciunas is a starting caliber center. They package him with a Malik Monk or Devin Carter. I think with the protected first and or 2 seconds, they're like, oh, we don't have a center. We plug that and get rid of, knock out 2 birds with 1 stone, get Jonas. We get rid of the Kaminga situation, and we get a backup scorer in Kaminga and or developmental guard in Carter.
I think that's a great call, Javi. It's almost as if and this is why I went back to, are the Kings trying to do too much, even though it's just a lot of smoke? Because maybe they didn't see the Jonathan Kaminga thing coming, but all that weird stuff with the sign and trade, and is Malik Monk going to be moved or not? For Dennis Schroeder, they wanted to use certain money and not other money. They end up moving on. They end up being able to keep Malik Monk, and maybe they thought that keeping Malik Monk could help in a possible Kaminga deal. Then it turns out, the Warriors don't want Malik Monk, or they don't want that contract. So I think you're spot on, because they don't want Draymond Green to play that much center. It's just a kind of an order of operations thing where maybe the Kings thought, maybe the Kings didn't know how available Jonathan Kaminga was going to be, and they would have operated differently. That would have made sense, because I think Jonas Valanciunas would be a great fit on the Warriors. He doesn't really stretch the floor, but he can pass, and they haven't had a traditional center like that in a very, very long time. Now that you have decided you moved up, you basically salary dumped him for this Dennis Schroeder situation, you are able to keep then Malik Monk. The only problem is now the Warriors don't seem to really want Malik Monk. So that was, I don't know if I'm calling it a mistake, because I don't know what the thought process was or truly what the Warriors do or don't want. All we know is that Brett Siegel said the Warriors don't want anything to do with Malik Monk's contract. So again, I'm not going to bring up Keon Ellis, but you're trying to save money. You're trying to keep flexibility just as everybody is. And if you are going to spend that money, you're going to spend it for a need. There are, people that think that Malik Monk just simply isn't on top of the contract thing, simply isn't the type of player that Steve Kerr really loves as far as how they like to move the ball and set screens, things like that. So I think it's a combination of those things. But yeah, Jonas Valanciunas, if it's Jonas Valanciunas, Devin Carter, and protected first, that deal might already be done.
See, the Jonas thing is so weird because, you talked about what did Nico know? What did Sacramento know about him wanting to go to Greece, right?
Right.
Because
that's the only thing, and they just decided we're just going to get off of it. We don't want to mess around. Now he ended up staying to play for the Nuggets, or he's going to.
Kind of being forced to.
Yeah.
But again, Sacramento traded him in part to create the space for Dennis Schroeder's sign-in trade, or pay him a little bit more, whatever you want to call it. But what also makes it tough is if they wanted to move off the money and they knew he wanted to go to Greece and was potentially willing to give all the money back, wouldn't they have just let him give all the money back? And then they would have had the space to sign Dennis Schroeder. That's the part where I just don't know what to do with the Valanciunas situation. Now we have Dario Saric, which I think Javi was a little harsh to Dario Saric, but we have him.
We have him. The last time I saw him, I was still in the Bay Area.
Who have you seen more recently, him or Marcus Smart?
Me, technically, is Dario because he was on the Warriors, but
so you technically saw him.
I technically did see him. And here's the thing: we got the 916, two different 916s. Ty Lue is trash. How many titles has James Harden won? I mean, are we really going to sit here and argue the Clippers aren't better than the
I just think
we can't do this, people.
I just think that 916 number just really hates the Clippers.
Yeah, we can't do this. This is the same thing. Again, I'm trying to help you here. This is the same thing as comparing Keon Ellis to missing out on Luka. We can't. We got to be better. We have to be better.
Look, I understand not being high on the Clippers, but to make the argument that the old guy Kings strategy is a good idea just because the Clippers are doing it. Clippers have better old dudes.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. The Clippers have James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Bradley Beal's not even that old, but people think of him as an old guy at this point. And Brooke Lopez.
Lopez.
Who are the other? Batum?
Right. You got Batum. They do have a lot of old dudes. Don't get me wrong.
It really is the unction.
Yeah, they definitely do. And what's funny is the Kings are not nearly as old as the Clippers. You have DeMar DeRozan, and you don't even have Russell Westbrook yet.
Yeah,
there's just pieces that don't fit.
Do they? I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Do they have a player older than 31 other than DeRozan?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think
so. It's not about being old.
Schroeder
might be 32.
Schroeder's right on the cusp.
Yeah.
Well, I guess. What do we think about Doug McDermott? He's been around
that doesn't
for
count.
a while. Let's see. So
Doug is probably 33.
Doug McDermott. He's younger than you think probably. Let's see. Doug McDermott is not on Fanspo yet, so we'll see. So we got Levine 30, Sabonis 29. Malik Monk, 27. Schroeder is 31. So that's right on the cuffs. Dario Saric, 31. No one else in their 30s yet. Let's see how old Doug
is 33.
So there you go. It's Doug.
It's not
is
even
the
about
old guy.
age. It's about talent. And it's about what we just watched happen. The Clippers, they were up on the Nuggets. So I'm not having any Clippers Kings discussion. That is, I'm not going to waste my time with that. Come on now. On the other side, Sam Amico on Jonathan Kaminga. apparently there is trouble in paradise between Kaminga and his head coach, Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave here for Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, inviting you to come join them every Wednesday for their midweek madness drawing, giving away $2,000 in total cash starting at 6 p.m. It's a safe and friendly environment, plenty of well-lit parking available, and it's conveniently located right there in downtown Sacramento. And remember, best food, best service, best games, 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Giant Summer Sale is here. Get giant savings on our giant selection only at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save during the Honda Summer Event and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. See all our specials at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Shooting lower scores isn't always about changing your swing or equipment. Sometimes it's as simple as changing how you hit certain shots on the course. Molly Braid, a Golf Digest Best Young Teacher, sees a classic mistake on uphill chips. Players will grab a sand wedge thinking the high-lofted club will get the ball in the air, but instead, the ball pops too high and comes up short. Use a club with less loft, Braid says. Grab your pitching wedge, 9-iron, or even 8-iron, depending on how far you hit the ball. Set up with your hips and shoulders in line with the hill. The handle is going to come back, and there will be added loft to the club, so it will have more height, like a sand wedge. Your pitching wedge and your 9-iron don't have as much loft as your sand wedge, but when you're hitting from a steep uphill lie, your pitching wedge is going to produce sand wedge-like results. You'll get that high trajectory up and over the hill to land soft on the green. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Hi, Sacramento. It's the No Surprise guys at Bell Brothers Plumbing. Need a water heater or plumbing repair? Call Bell Brothers. Clogged drain? We'll clear it for $67. Plus a free camera inspection, a $250 value. We're fast, on time, and the price we quote is the price you pay. No surprises. Plus, we'll check your plumbing for free. Call Bell Brothers or book at thenosurpriseguys.com.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Locash, Vincent Mason, and Abriana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Sponsored by the California Army National Guard and Hop Valley Brewing. Tickets at CITPFest.com.
You're home for Kings Talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sactown Sports.
Somewhat of an update, I guess you could call it that, on Jonathan Kaminga, Sam Amico of Hoops Hype. I pulled a couple excerpts from his article. You can go check out the whole thing at hoopshype.com. Or excuse me, hoopswire.com. Sam Amico says Jonathan Kaminga wants to leave Golden State and likes the idea of playing for the Sacramento Kings or the Phoenix Suns. An NBA source told Sam Amico of Hoops Wire on Saturday. And he has kind of an excerpt from what an NBA or a front office executive for the Warriors told Keith Smith of Spa Track. We're trying to be responsible with the aprons and hard caps and all of that. You can't just throw money around. We still love Jonathan. We're hopeful we can figure out a way to strike a balance that works for him and for us, but we're not going to compromise our roster building ability now or in the future. We have to be responsible in the way we build a team, a Warriors front office executive told NBA reporter Keith Smith of Spa Track. Also, last but not least, multiple sources told Hoops Wire last season that Kaminga doesn't have a good relationship with Warriors head coach Steve Kerr. So that is kind of the crux of what Sam Amico had to say. You can go check out the full thing at hoopswire.com. And what we learned on Friday is that nobody wants to trade Keon Ellis for Jonathan Kaminga. And to be fair, with all of this stuff coming out, I guess the main response is why? Right? Why? Because if the reality of it all is that Kaminga doesn't want to be there and that this relationship is frayed, we've seen firsthand with De'Aaron Fox how it affects the market. Now, De'Aaron Fox didn't have the restricted free agent stuff, but the Kings can sit there and say, here's our offer. We don't have to raise our offer because we know Jonathan Kaminga doesn't want to be there. And you don't necessarily want him. And there's no real way to save this thing. So the Warriors are either going to have to up the amount of money to get him to agree to a short-term deal and then move him in December, or they're just really going to be, I guess, bleeped out of luck. And this thing could get even uglier, right? If he doesn't sign, or if he signs a qualifying offer, he's betting on himself, but also the Warriors are cooked because now he's going to leave. He'll just leave in free agency. And after all that, after all the posturing and after all the Devin Carter and King and Warriors fans, get that trash deal out of here, get that out of here, you can lose him for nothing if he signs that qualifying offer.
I guess in some cases, losing someone for nothing isn't the worst thing in the world because of what you can do with the resources you aren't allocating to them. This is the Rafael Devers trade. This is the Clippers letting Paul George walk in free agency, which on the surface you would say hurts, but then it allows them to get below aprons and sign a Derek Jones Jr. and sign a Bradley Beal and trade for John Collins and sign Brooke Lopez and do all those other things. So I guess that's the disadvantageous position for Jonathan Kaminga is Golden State can just say, hey, we're not going to compromise our long-term flexibility. We're trying to go get Giannis in a year or two.
Right.
So why would we'd rather you just leave.
Yes. If they don't like that, let's just use Malik, for example, right? And Devin would be dang near more intriguing because you're not paying Devin the same amount of money. But if on the surface, right, it would be the chestnut checkers approach. On the surface, man, the Warriors could have had at least Malik Monk for Kaminga and a second, and they turned it down and they lost Kaminga for nothing. That would be kind of the checkers approach, right? Well, we don't want to lose Kaminga for nothing, so fine, we'll take on Malik Monk. But the other side of the checkers approach is now you have Malik Monk under contract for the next 3 years, which could affect you in different ways. The chess approach is we don't plan on playing you anyway. If we're not going to get good value for you and exactly what we want, go ahead, sign the qualifying offer. We'll lose you for nothing, sure, but now we never had to pay you and you're done.
Or we can...
And we never have to play you either because you're worth $7 million.
Or maybe we get to the trade deadline, it's like, hey, we can get Ayo DeSumo now.
Yeah.
Which is better than Devin Carter, which he is better than Devin Carter, like unequivocally. Which I guess is the plus side of trading for, I'll just say a draft pick. I'm not even saying Devin Carter specifically. It's like they have club options. The Warriors can decline the last year of his deal. They would lose him, but they would preserve that flexibility that they're talking about going into 2020. Was it after 2027? Yeah, the summer of 2027 is what the Warriors are positioning themselves for, when Steph, Jimmy Butler, Draymond will all be off the books.
Right. And it's pods time.
And it's either we're getting Giannis or we're getting fired, which, by the way, is not a bad strategy if you're the Warriors.
Yeah.
If you know Giannis is at least interested, it's not a bad strategy to say, I will risk my entire job on pairing a 40-year-old Steph Curry with Giannis.
Yeah.
Not the worst strategy ever, but that's the strategy they've chosen. So I guess getting a Devin Carter, or I guess in Phoenix's case, like Iguodala or Ryan Dunn or something, is a better strategy to protect that long-term flexibility, but it obviously doesn't make the Warriors better in the short term. Kaminga is right now a better player than all of those guys.
Yeah, so that is the update on Jonathan Kaminga. And when you really boil down how this could end up, I mean, I think both sides are really running out of time in a way and trying to figure out how exactly they can get this thing resolved. Kaminga, I do think there's a smidge of posturing going on with them saying, oh, we're just real comfortable. We're real comfortable not signing until it's exactly what we want. And they've been really buttoned up. We still have no reports on the offer that is currently out to Jonathan Kaminga, which I'd love to know what that is, what he's just kind of scoffing or balking at. Is it 15 a year? Is it 20 a year? If they're looking for 30, I just don't think they're going to get him and Josh Giddey both looking for 30. And I just don't think either of them are going to get 30.
Not in this second apron world that everyone's trying to figure out.
I don't think they're at 20. It's just crazy for me to think that they're at 24. At 25 would be insane if he's saying no to 25. I would say they might be right at 20 and he's saying no.
Well, I also think he just doesn't want to be on the Warriors.
Yeah.
Right? That's the thing that's throwing a wrench into all of this, is that I don't feel like I use that phrase right. Anyways, the thing
a wrench? Maybe a wrench.
A wrench?
Yes.
A wretch or a wrench?
Yes.
Okay. Anyways, the thing that's making this all weird is that last part is like, he does not have a good relationship with Steve Kerr. He does not want to go back to Golden State, and there's no money being thrown around that would make him, swallow his pride and go back at this point. I think that's probably why this has been dragged out kind of the way it has.
Yeah. And the other part of it is when you only have a certain amount of money invested in somebody, is easier to bury him on the bench, right? So the idea of if he's only getting 18, 19, or even 20, relatively speaking, of course, he might feel as if that's not enough for you to feel like you have to play me. And that's the kicker too. Nobody wants to feel like that. Nobody wants to feel, if you know that somebody doesn't like you or just doesn't like the way you play, it doesn't go away. So I've kind of told this story before. Well, I've told a part of it before. When I went to Temple University, the coach that recruited me, it was a mutual split. So me, another guy, he was from Hawaii. He went to Monterey Peninsula. Me, him, all the JUCO guys, and all the freshmen, we didn't know this coach that they had coming in, right? So we had to meet. We had to meet, try to kind of convince them, hey, we're good ball players. And it was pretty late in the summer, so we had nowhere else to go. I didn't have a problem with the head coach, but one of the assistant coaches that they brought in, I just don't think he liked me very much. I just don't think he liked, for whatever reason, just did not like did not like any of it. I won't get into the details, but he was not with the team going into my senior year, and it was just a completely different situation. I felt better. I played better because you felt like you were around people that actually believed in you, right? So with Kaminga, if he thinks, to your point, Kyle, the money would be nice, and I think, number one, the money ain't right, and number two, I know that if that guy does play me, it's because the owner wanted you to give me my money, or the owner gave me my money. You don't want to play me, Steve Kerr.
Well, and even if he were to get enough money to justify him having to be the starter, this was the conversation we had earlier with Malik Monk. Mm-hmm. Once you're making $20 million or 15% of the salary cap, you're the fourth best player on the team. So either someone making less than you is going to play, or you have to play because they don't have other players. But even if he were to get his money, he now plays the same position as Jimmy Butler, who makes way more money than Jonathan Kaminga makes. Once they traded for Jimmy Butler, they didn't need Jonathan Kaminga anymore. They just got Jimmy freaking Butler.
Yeah, and they try, I know at the end of the season they were trying to pull off we'll give them more runway to play together. Okay, but you definitely can't have Draymond on the court. You cannot have the three of them on the court, dude.
Draymond, Jimmy Butler, Kaminga.
Come on.
No shooting.
Yeah.
And then,
Moses Moody and Steph.
Well, I was going to say, who's going to save that? Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield and Pods.
That's all the spacing you need. When we return, Kevin Pelton grades all of the offseason so far. We looking at a C, a B, or maybe worse with the Sacramento Kings. Also, we run the daily Tankathon. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Allen Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports injury update, brought to you by DTLA Law Group. Denzel Clark, out with that right adductor strain, is going to be out until late August. Manager Mark Kotze said Clark will probably require a couple weeks from the date of his placement on the IL. Brady Basso, out with that left shoulder strain, is scheduled to throw 20 pitches upcoming in batting practice. He had been pulled off of his rehab assignment in mid-June. That was your Sacktown Sports injury update, brought to you by DTLA Law Group. It's Allen Stiles here. You injured at work? Call downtown. DTLA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, they have won over $500 million in settlements. DTLA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay zero up front. Call downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com.
Do you know how America became the best country on God's green earth? We made things, from automobiles to airplanes to textiles. We were the manufacturing epicenter of the world, the innovators that every other country turned to. I'm Katie Lyon, co-founder of Allegiance Flag Supply, and I'm here to tell you that the American spirit is alive and well at Allegiance, where we make American flags 100% in America. When you fly your American flag from Allegiance Flag Supply, you're not just honoring our country. You're supporting American men and women who proudly make the highest quality American flags. Period. True patriots who put care into every stitch. See our full story at showallegiance.com and learn about our 100% American-based supply chain. Fly your flag from showallegiance.com with pride, because every flag says manufacturing is still alive and well in the U.S. and we are still the greatest country. Visit showallegiance.com, and from all of us, thank you for your support.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal, you should feel better about that. Or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
At Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, we're all about summer smiles. During July, we're having our Summer Smiles special with $300 off braces or Invisalign with no money down if you start treatment in July. And you'll have a chance to win Legoland tickets. Go to kidscaredental.com for more information.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sacktown Sports.
Some off-season grades to get to, but first, it is time. And this has been so ice cold, man. So ice cold. I got a good feeling about this week, though, and the Tankathon lottery simulator that we've been running every single day. Spinning for a long time today. I actually think it's still spinning. I don't know why it's never done this before.
There we go. Just took him a second. Took Tankathon a sec.
With the Second pick in the 2026 NBA draft. Your Sacramento Kings select the good boozer. Or Darren Peterson.
Or AJ.
AJ from BYU.
It depends. Do the Jazz have the 1 pick?
No, the Memphis Grizzlies. The Kings jump up 6 spots. The Grizzlies jump up 11 spots. The Brooklyn Nets have the 3rd pick. The Wizards have the 4th. Utah has the 5th. Charlotte has the 6th. Portland the 7th. Chicago the 8th. And Memphis again from Phoenix. So Memphis would have the 1 pick and the 9 pick. That's a problem.
I mean, they look at what they do with 38 picks in Jalen Wells. You give them, who would they even draft? Debanza? You give him Debanza, watch out. He's like Zach Edey, but with skills.
This is where we start talking about, hey, yeah, don't mess around and make the play in. Let's just stay away. Let's just stay away from.
Want to test your luck and try again?
Here we go. I'm doing it.
Can we get to number 1?
Back to 8.
Okay. Well, you know what?
Back to 8.
The one we're keeping on the log is second. So now through 7 days of running the Tankathon, we have a 3rd, a 4th, a 2nd, and 4 9ths.
Those 9s are killing us. But there you have it. That's where the Kings would fall today if they do what they're supposed to do. And where did we say, Kyle? They would have to finish 11th or 12th in the West?
That's where Tankathon has them right now, is 12th, I believe.
Yeah, if the Kings finish 12th.
Well, I think they had them tied for 11th with the Pelicans. I don't remember if the Pelicans were higher or lower, but
yeah, right now,
it's also
go ahead.
It's not looking great for the Pelicans right now. Derek Queen's going to be out for 2 months, and they don't have their pick next year.
Yeah, Pelicans don't have their pick. It would go to Atlanta. Atlanta is always around to take somebody's pick.
No, Atlanta's usually I guess the Kings.
The Kings. Just like, oh, we heard you're going to stink.
Except for all their own picks, which somehow all go to the Spurs. Like they traded, no one talks about them trading their entire draft for DeJounte Murray. They're still paying for that like 8 years later.
So they have that trade, the Grizzlies do, but then after that, you have the Grizzlies behind the Kings. That'd be their actual pick, not the one from Phoenix. That'd be their actual pick. So it's just the Pelicans, the Grizzlies, and the Spurs. Those 3 teams. It were to have worse odds, but in the lottery.
Yes, as it stands right now. Because again, if you're the 12 seed, right, then you would have 9, 10, and 11 also in the lottery. Those are the teams that wouldn't make the playoffs. Then the ones below them, I think, are the Blazers, who I actually think are going to be pretty good. The Suns and Utah.
Blazers, Suns, Utah. There you have it. Let's get to these off-season grades. This is what Kevin Pelton had to say as far as the Kings off-season grade, and he gave them a D+. Somehow the plus is actually more disrespectful than anything
No
else.
class, no balls.
That's actually more disrespectful than just giving them a straight-up D. This is what he had to say. A curious offseason didn't seem to move the Kings closer to a playoff return. Prioritizing point guard after trading De'Aaron Fox in February was reasonable, but Sacramento gave Dennis Schroeder a 3-year, $45 million deal that might not age well given Schroeder's reliance on quickness. That deal forced the Kings to swap Jonas Valanciunas for Dario Saric, who barely played last season, to stay out of the luxury tax. Sacramento might have been better off targeting a point guard on a cheaper deal, such as Trey Jones, or letting Valanciunas leave for a reported offer from Greek power Olympiacos and getting out of his deal altogether. Only the Pacers and Pelicans got worse grades than the Kings. It's crazy, man. And I know we've been getting on national media for being a little bit too hard on the Kings, but at least Kevin Pelton is kind of coming with some facts here. You know I wanted Trey Jones. No idea.
You wanted any Jones.
I wanted one of the Joneses, but more so than that, I don't know that I wanted to give Dennis Schroeder this type of money.
Especially if Pelton's making the conclusion that the Valanciunas for Saric deal was to make space for Dennis Schroeder, which I don't think is true because it was a sign and trade setup, but it's not that far off from what he's talking about.
Yes, it was 6 degrees of separation.
But I also think national people give the better perspective of like so much of what Kings fans are holding onto and grasping onto for hope of the offseason is 2 players who are draft picks that have never played an NBA game before, right? We have no idea how good any of those players are going to be. And granted, a good summer league is a precursor to having some kind of solid NBA career, but it's a lot of Kings fans grading Scott Perry in the offseason based on Nick Clifford and Maxime Reynaud, and Pelton's not even including them in this because, again, it's draft picks. You can like the process, but you have no idea how good the player will actually be.
But this is the problem that I have with him, or with this article. Did you see what he gave the Warriors?
Well, probably nothing because they haven't done anything.
He gave them an incomplete.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But that's BS.
They haven't done anything.
So then grade them on the fact that they haven't done anything.
But they're going to do things. They have DeAnthony Melton.
But they haven't.
That's
so why didn't the Kings get incomplete? Why didn't everybody get incomplete?
Because Sacramento's offseason is pretty close to done. I mean,
they could add 22-year-old high flyer.
Maybe we'll come back and reevaluate, which honestly, depending on what they give up, depending on how Kevin Pelton feels about Kaminga, might not be the best thing for him.
And he brings up the Warriors draft picks. He says, having merely added a pair of picks in the 50s, the Warriors are impossible to evaluate until they figure out the status of restricted free agent Jonathan Kaminga. If Golden State indeed signs veteran center Al Horford and brings back guard DeAnthony Melton, as ESPN's Anthony Slater reported it's possible, that would be a solid summer to build on last season's strong finish after the Jimmy Butler trade. For now, all remains on hold. DeAnthony Melton coming off of ACL and Al Horford skeleton, and that would be a solid. What are we talking about?
What did they give the Lakers? Because whatever grade you would give that Warriors, and don't forget about Seth Curry.
He forgot about Seth Curry. The Lakers got a B.
So yeah, I feel like the Warriors would get like a B-.
Ridiculous.
For adding Melton, adding Horford, and forcing Kaminga to come back.
What did the Kings do? Why did the Kings get a D+? Is it just because of how much money they gave Schroeder and basically abandoning Jonas Valanciunas?
Yeah, and did nothing else. Right.
Incomplete.
It's not incomplete. I mean, it is sort of incomplete, but
they're in on Kaminga.
I feel like, let's say, I just thought about what I was going to say in my head, and I'm going to correct myself.
What about Westbrook? What if they add Westbrook?
Let's call it a soft D+ right now.
Oh, yes. What about Westbrook? Okay.
Again, I'm saying the grade's not final yet. There's still time, but right now, oh God, I hate saying it. Let's call it a soft D.
You could just say D-.
Well, that makes it weirder.
If you will. So
if it's a soft D-, that's worse than a soft D+.
Okay. Look, man. So the Pacers, I think he's just saying the Miles Turner thing. I don't know why the Pacers got a D. And
yeah, gotta stop.
And the Pelicans got an F. At least there's always the Pelicans.
Yeah, at least Joe Dumars is here to save us.
But my issue, because I can guarantee you right now, based on whatever the Spurs got, I guarantee you he included their draft pick. Oh, he says the Spurs don't get bonus points for jumping to number 2 and drafting Dylan Harper.
Yeah,
but he still gave him a B. He gave him a B. So that's ignored. They did well upgrading the front court with Luke Cornett and Kelly Olynyk. Come on. Come on, man.
I guess he's closer to you as a grader than me. I just feel like they just don't love paying Dennis Schroeder $15 million.
That's really what it comes down to. I think most people, and this was the first time I heard somebody say it's more so about his type of play. versus and how it won't age well versus at least he's not saying, well, it's not that he's not worth that now. I just don't know that he's going to be worth that by the end. So he's not that bad.
Yeah, and again, it's the third year is basically a team option. We don't know the exact details, but from what Dave reported, it's like we're talking hundreds of thousands, if not maybe like less than $2 million is guaranteed on the last year. So I don't know. I feel like it's a little harsh, but to your point, if they add Westbrook, are we going to get a C? What, like how is adding Westbrook going to change it?
Well, 27 minutes a game. Okay, impact player, dog. They get a D for dog. That's what they get when we return. That's no bigger dog. No, a bigger one. That's a lion. That's an actual lion or a tiger. I don't know what that is. There we go. When we return, what is Keon Ellis' value heading into a contract year? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Whitey here, and I want to remind you, not all grills are created equal. The Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers are built different, built better, and built to last, with features other grills can't match, complete with a lifetime warranty. It's a great time to find out for yourself because Napoleon's Pro Summer Blast is on right now. Save up to $400 today on a Napoleon stainless steel Pro Grill. Become the envy of your neighborhood. Offer ends July 31st, 2025. Visit your local Green Acres Nursery and Supply and get grilling today on your new Napoleon Prestige Pro Grill. Napoleon stainless steel grills, simply the best.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, by his standards, Lawrence Butler isn't having the kind of season he expected, but still, Lawrence is just 25, and he's only played the equivalent of 2.5 seasons in the minor leagues. And now he's on a pace to become the first athletic since Coco Crisp back in 2013 to go 20-20, 20 homers and 20 stolen bases. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. It's how retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And it's how healthcare offices become data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business.
Hey, it's Carmichael, Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's TREX.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Hammer time thrown down by the league.
From the Power Business Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140. Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
$12 o'clock on the dot. What does that mean? That means 30 minutes. Commercial free. Sports talk as we take you up to 2 p.m. And the big question, everybody was a little spicy on Friday about was Keon Ellis and losing Keon Ellis for Jonathan Kaminga. I'm going to repeat this about 3 times here, okay? Maybe more than that. I do not want to trade Keon Ellis for Jonathan Kaminga. I do not want to trade Keon Ellis for Jonathan Kaminga. I do not want to trade Keon Ellis for Jonathan Kaminga. But if I liked Jonathan Kaminga that much, I don't know that I would let Keon Ellis get in the way of getting Jonathan Kaminga. I don't know that I'd let that be the holdup. In a perfect world, you don't have to, right? That's why the Kings have offered Devin Carter a protected first and Dario Saric. We don't know if he can still play basketball, but Dario Saric, right? That's what they've offered. So how much do the Kings like Jonathan Kaminga? How much do they want to keep Keon Ellis safe? That is ultimately the question. And now the secondary question to that is what Keon Ellis means to the Kings and what he could mean to anybody in the league. Sam Quinn of CBS Sports had this to say regarding Keon Ellis. For the record, Keon Ellis is going to be this season what Nickeil Alexander-Walker was to the last. Every smart team is going to want him for the mid-level. He'll inevitably get more than that, and it'll still be good value for the team. He's just a really good basketball player. That's from Sam Quinn. He's just a really good basketball player. And I'll say this, listening to Sam Quinn say that, I do wonder, with the decision that the Kings made, you better figure out that extension. You better not let him hit the open market, because the only thing worse than losing Keon Ellis for Jonathan Kaminga would be losing Keon Ellis for nothing. If you lose Keon Ellis for nothing in free agency and you miss out on Jonathan Kaminga, whether I like Jonathan Kaminga for this team or not, you lose him for nothing. That's going to be a bad look. So I'm not saying that you should move Keon for Kaminga, but if you're not going to move Keon for Kaminga, you better get something done.
I think it's the upside of the player, right? So we talked about this on Friday. There's not an issue with not wanting to be in on Jonathan Kaminga at $25 million. The idea, though, that Keon Ellis is going to command really anything greater than that at this stage of the game, unless he's going to be packaged as part of a larger deal for, I don't know, Drew Holiday or something. Like, the idea that him alone as a main focal point of a trade is going to command you anything more than a 22-year-old disgruntled Jonathan Kaminga, I feel like is where Sacramento is, and Kings fans that were wiling at you on Twitter were maybe believing in Keon Ellis, and more so from an emotional standpoint than anything else, and wanting to have Keon be on the team for years and years to come, because why wouldn't you? That's the type of player everyone should want on their team.
My issue and what becomes funny to me is how Keon can help this team right now, right? I do not want to hear about Keon being this team's Caruso. You know why I don't want to hear about Keon being this team's Caruso? Because let's follow the red bricked road here, people. Which team was Alex Caruso on the last however many seasons and did not impact the game the same way he did on the Thunder? Same player, different team. Let's think about it. It was the Chicago Bulls. Alex Caruso was on the Chicago Bulls, still Alex Caruso, and they didn't do anything in the Eastern Conference.
Wait, Allen, though, the Bulls have made a lot of changes since Caruso was gone. Who are the teammates that Caruso was playing with?
Great question, Kyle. It's a great question. Funny enough, those dudes are now on the Sacramento Kings.
What? Who would that be?
In DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. So we've seen this before. So everybody, you need good players. This is who the Kings need when they're in the playoffs. What? The playoffs? This is the same conversation in a different way as Mason Miller and the A's. You got a closer on a team that doesn't close games very often. It's a great situation. Hey, when the A's get to the playoffs, we're going to have a shutdown closer. Okay, what place are the A's in? Now, look, the Kings could surprise some people and get to the playoffs. But comparing Keon Ellis to Caruso on the Thunder specifically is not what you should be doing, because Alex Caruso was on a team with the two main players that are now on the Kings, and they didn't do anything. So I'm not saying to move Keon Ellis. I'm saying that everybody talking about how Keon is an impact player that's going to be very important in the playoffs. Whose playoffs? Whose playoffs are we talking about? Who are we talking about?
Well, and to the same point, like we talked about this as well. Caruso is kind of like the S tier player for this specific skill set, right? Yeah. A two guard who can also guard ones and threes and
Jokic.
Yes, and Jokic in a game 7 with the season on the line. Again, that's Caruso is a 2-time all NBA defender, or all defense team guy. Keon Ellis, while very good, is not quite that. But again, it's not to say Keon is not a
it's not to
great
say he can't
player.
get there, and it's not to say he can't get there.
I just think he's closer to Nickeil Alexander-Walker, to Sam Quinn's point, than Alex Caruso, even under the best of circumstances.
But again, Nickeil Alexander-Walker was on the Timberwolves, who went to the Western Conference Finals with Anthony Edwards, with Naz Reid, with Julius Randle. We'll see what happens on the Hawks. They're trying to build something, but we're watching these guys do certain things on playoff teams.
Right, and to your point, we talk about the second draft sometimes, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker was bad on the Pelicans, spent a year in purgatory on the Jazz, and then made it to Minnesota. And a big part of that was no bag work, right?
Zero.
Just wasn't giving it on offense, but could play some good defense. A great situation to walk into if you're a player with that, Keon Ellis type skill set? A team where you're backing up Anthony Edwards, maybe the best shooting guard in the NBA. And now he's going to go play with Dyson Daniels. I don't know how that's going to work.
We do not know. And the other thing, as everybody was getting mad at me about 6'7", calling Keon the 6'7" guy off the bench, or not off the bench, but the 6'7" player, right? 6th man, 7th man. The other part of that is that him being compared to Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he didn't start either. Now, I get it. The Timberwolves are obviously better than the Kings, but he didn't start either. So on a team, there shouldn't really be a world where Keon Ellis is your starting two guard and you're actually rocking and rolling. And he is best served as a 6th, 7th man. The problem is this team just isn't as good as these other teams that we brought up. Well, he can be Lou Dort and he can be Alex Caruso. What did those guys do when they weren't in winning situations? What did Nickeil Alexander-Walker do when he wasn't in a winning situation? So I'm not saying to move on from Keon. I'm not. I don't want to move on from Ellis Island. I really don't. But to talk about him the same way you talk about guys that are on completely different rosters and in completely different spots, that doesn't make a lot of sense either. That's not where the Kings are currently at. Maybe they'll get there, and I'm not saying that Kaminga is the guy that's going to help you get there or not get there, but having somebody, he's going to be really good for playoff basketball. Who's okay for who? Who's going?
Okay, but let's also say they do make the playoffs, right? Because the argument to make in favor of doing Bulls West is DeRozan, Levine, and if you want to make Keon the Caruso in this example, and Schroeder is your Kobe White, then those players played with Vucevic, who is not Sabonis, right? Vucevic obviously made all-star teams, pretty empty calories offensive player, and by the way, apparently the Bulls might buy him out just because nobody wants him at $20 million right now, right? So the argument to make is like, okay, they've upgraded from Vucevic to Sabonis. Now, is that good enough to get you from, I think their peak was the 6th seed in the West, the 6th seed in the East in this loaded Western Conference? Is that good enough to even get you back to the 8th seed in the West? Based on the people you were talking to in Summer League, it seems like most people's perceptions are, well, it didn't work for other teams, but maybe it'll work for the Kings kind of situation. So maybe the argument is if you give Sabonis all of this, he will make a leap, and he will be the reason why Sacramento will get back to the playoffs. But if that doesn't happen, to your point, Keon Ellis is now an unrestricted free agent, and you might lose him for nothing.
I'll tell you this much. If the Kings, let's say the Kings miss the playoffs, and just like I've been saying, after this season, they decide we're going to start the rebuild process, then again, Keon at 26, and this thing just keeps getting more and more layered, because then it becomes, if you're Keon and you're Keon's agent and there's money out there, right? You're going to look around and say, hey, you know who you are. You know what your skill set kind of is. If the money is comparable somewhere else, do you want to stay in Sacramento as they try to rebuild, knowing that, look, brother, you're an undrafted 3-and-D guy, right? You want to stay in Sacramento while they look for their stars that are going to maybe hit, and you're going to have to, be their complimentary piece, or do you just want to go be a complimentary piece on a team that's ready to go right now, which is essentially Nickeil Alexander-Walker is taking that chance with the Hawks, but it would be a situation like that. Do you want to stay in Sacramento as they kind of soft rebuild, or don't soft rebuild and you're just doing the same thing again? Tanking. Right. You soft rebuild, tank, or they're the 9th seed and Allen was wrong. They're going to they signed Russ to a 2-year and they're going to keep trying to rework this thing. Or do you just want to go to a team that you know is going to make the playoffs, and maybe you're the 8th guy, but you know what your role is, and you're just on a better squad.
I think the key word in that scenario is if the deals are comparable, right? Because I don't think Minnesota had that same offer for Nickeil Alexander-Walker that Atlanta had. And honestly, I think Alexander-Walker is probably going to be worse next year in that situation in Atlanta. But if you're Keon Ellis, he's been getting screwed out of money. Like, his best years of his NBA career, these last, I'd say 2.5 years, been making $1.8 million, $2 million, $2.3 million. He's the found money guy that we've been talking about. If someone's willing to overpay you, take it. Like, if the Kings are willing to overpay you, take it. If you're Keon at this stage of your career, he hasn't gotten the generational wealth yet. So if the deals are comparable, yes, maybe you start to think about winning situation. But if one team is offering you even $5 million more, that's the same he's been making the last 3 years in the league. You take the largest offer, whatever your agent and financial advisor say is the best offer, and you don't even think twice at this point.
916-339-1140. Let's get to TC, who wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, TC? What you got for us?
Alan, what's up, bro?
How you doing, man? Happy Monday. What you got?
Happy Monday, man. Just fire. So listen, man, you don't got to get on here and explain to nobody, bro. Listen, Keon is my dog. Seriously, man. but it's a no-brainer, bro. I'm doing that deal today still, and I love Keon, man. But the reason why I'm doing that deal is because the upswing, younger, the athleticism that everybody wants, and also the wing help, right? Not saying that Devin is Keon. Keon is way better than Devin, but the whole jumping, Keon has a jump shot. That's what he has on Devin. Other than that, Devin can rebound, jump in passing lanes, and do all that. Not saying that you're going to fill him in for him, but come on, what are we talking about? I'm not going to let Keon Ellis, if that's what that is, he's not going to hold up to Jonathan Kaminga, because in the long run, Kaminga will fit the Kings better than Ellis, bro.
Yeah, thanks for the call, TC. And that's a good point with Devin Carter. Obviously, and TC said the same thing, Keon is better than Devin Carter. But defensively, let's just do it since we're already here. How much better is Keon than Devin Carter specifically defensively? Specifically. Because I don't know that he is worlds better than Devin Carter defensively. The only conversation that we're having is the jump shot, which is a huge conversation, but Devin can get hot. I'm not saying that Devin is going to be Keon, but defensively specifically, I don't think that Keon is worlds above Devin Carter. I think you're muted.
Nerds. And some of the nerd stats that
we didn't hear anything.
Oh,
we just heard nothing, and then you saying nerds.
Yeah, sorry. Some of the nerd stats that I have back up the fact that I'm rattled by that. I have to bring my mic down when there's callers.
I know.
Anyways, sorry, I'm rattled. Some of the nerd stats back up the fact that Devin Carter is a comparable defensive player. The only problem is sample size. We've seen 38 games of Devin Carter, many of which he didn't play very many minutes.
Yeah, and again, I'm not saying that Devin Carter could replace Keon, and we're probably a year away from that convo. If he had, I think that a lot could happen, and playing time is just going to be tough to come by, but I think a lot could happen this upcoming season. If Devin had a good season and Keon's the hot ticket, look, I would have rather just got Jonathan Kaminga instead of letting Keon walk, but at least you'd know, hey, Devin is moving in the right direction.
Yeah, because I've just pulled up last year's numbers here. Keon Ellis played 5 times as many minutes as Devin Carter did last year. Devin, on Basketball Index, they literally have something called rotation roll. Devin Carter's literally just says garbage time.
Yeah,
he just didn't play.
Yeah.
And again, you said we're maybe a year away from having that conversation. We kind of have to be, because they have to make the decision in a year. They're either going to extend Keon Ellis, at which point you have to play him significant minutes because he'll be making $15 to $20 million a year, or you're going to move on from Keon Ellis, pick up Devin Carter's 4th-year option, and say, Devin, you're now in that role. And maybe we'll know by the end of next year which of those is the best option and have conviction about it. But right now, I mean, if you ask me today, would you rather pay Keon Ellis $15 million or, sign up for 4 years of Keon Ellis at $15 to $20 million a year, or take a chance on Devin Carter? If you ask me today, I'm just taking the safe option and paying Keon Ellis.
I'm doing the same thing. And I don't know. It'll probably work itself out if they get. This is why right now the investigative work, the Law and Order investigative work, when, I obviously during the show I'm working here, but trying to figure out, is there anybody else the Kings are talking to as far as Devin Carter is concerned? Because if they move Devin Carter, even if it's not the Kaminga deal, you bring in Westbrook, sure, but then you would have made your decision. There would be no Devin had a good season. Now you have 0 excuse to not pay Keon Ellis, because there's no world where, hey, Devin had a good season. He's not even on the squad, and you're not going to not pay Keon Ellis because Russell West. That type of stuff. Well, we got to look up Statista this week, Kyle, see how much money the Kings made. But that's the type of stuff that'll make people stop showing up. That's the type of stuff that if you don't pay Keon because Westbrook had a good year for you. That's the type of stuff that'll turn people into fans of other teams.
Yes, that is. Remember last week we had the conversation of I respect people who root for losers but don't respect them when they start treating you bad.
Yes.
That's getting close to the threshold of treating you bad. Is like, we hear your concerns and we're just going to ignore them. Like the what is the Pirates guy's name? Nutting. Like at this point, that's his name.
Okay.
The Pirates guy at this point is now disrespecting the fans because it's like, oh yeah, we hear your concerns and we know that you're upset. We just don't care. That's where it's disrespecting. And while that's not going to happen, it is the situation Scott Perry has been dealt with, which, by the way, maybe Scott Perry says no to both. Maybe Scott Perry says, I don't want to pay Keon Ellis $20 million a year, and I also don't want to pick up Devin Carter's fourth-year option. Right?
I don't want either of them.
Yeah, maybe Scott Perry says, I think we can do better.
Yeah, just give me Westbrook.
We'll find oh God.
Well, give me Westbrook and whoever else we can find.
Someone just turned on their car 4 minutes ago and is driving off the road at you saying that sentence.
209 says, is Keon is bigger than Devin Carter, right? ? I think he is taller, yeah.
Little bit, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, but I think Devin is, I don't know. Devin thicker.
Again, Devin Carter, we have firsthand account from me at the airport.
You've never stood next to Keon
yes,
that close.
I can tell you, Devin Carter is 6'3.5". Like on a good day, Devin Carter with shoes off at the airport, Devin Carter was like 6'3.5".
Yeah.
They list Keon Ellis at 6'6".
And let's not forget, essentially the same exact. I don't know if it ended this way, but for a while, Devin and Keon had the exact same summer league stats. Devin from this year, Keon from last year. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it ended that way because Devin had a rough it was going into the semifinals.
Okay. I mean, Devin played, I guess, fine in the semifinal, but he had a rough championship game. A lot of people had a rough championship game, except Isaac Jones. Yeah. Isaac Jones was killing it, but Keon Ellis can guard wings, right? I think that's the underlying point. I know some people are going to make the point with his size. Why can't they just play him at the 3, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yes, he can guard wings. He's not going to be guarding Jaden McDaniels, but he is going to be guarding Brad Beal, right? That's kind of the Keon Ellis situation. If another team goes small, you can get away with playing Keon at the 3.
Yeah.
But if another team goes big, Neat Clifford time, baby. Come on down, Neat Clifford. Let's see how you can do guarding 6'9" guys.
So to kind of just wrap this whole thing up, it's not that I want to trade Keon for Jonathan Kaminga. I'm just trying to basically lay out how much the Kings want Kaminga and whether or not Keon should be the reason that you don't go get Jonathan Kaminga. But past the Jonathan Kaminga convo, you better not say no to a deal like that and then lose Keon for nothing during free agency. If you are going to say, hey, we're prioritizing Keon and we want to move on with Keon, then he shouldn't even get to free agency. You should be able to get a deal done, and Keon can still control it if his agent says, I don't think you should take that. I think you should wait. And that's where you're at right now because you picked up the option. So it's not really that much in the control of the Kings past we offered something to Keon. He wanted to wait for free agency. It's still there for him and he took it. Or there's somebody out there that thinks that they're Keon away and they outbid us. And now everybody that was upset at me for even just bringing up the idea of moving off of Keon and specifically for Jonathan Kaminga based on the interest level that the Kings may or may not have. Now you just lost Keon in free agency. I think this is completely different if they didn't pick up that option and it was restricted free agency. But with it being unrestricted free agency, okay, that's fine. Don't move him. But you better not lose him in free agency for nothing. You better not let him walk. Most confusing rosters, we should say, when we return. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khtk.com.
The Giant Summer Sale is here. Get giant savings on our giant selection only at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save during the Honda Summer Event and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. See all our specials at folsomlakehonda.com.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
A couple years ago, I was in the bathroom at the airport when I dropped my smartphone in the toilet. Not smart. I was multitasking when I should have been focused on the job at hand. Embarrassing, but I'm not alone. According to Google, 7 million other multitaskers accidentally dropped their phones into the bowl last year. A gentle reminder that right now you can get yourself a brand new Samsung Galaxy A36 absolutely free with a $35 plan from Pure Talk. The A36 comes with scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass and a battery that'll last all day, along with unlimited talk, text, and data on America's most dependable 5G network. In other words, it's tough and smart. Something to think about next time you're multitasking in the necessary. Just dial pound 250, say keyword Mike Rowe to get your free phone today. You can make the switch in just 10 minutes. That's pound 250. Say Mike Rowe to switch to a no-nonsense smartphone and a company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Locash, Vincent Mason, and Adriana. Make a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Sponsored by the California Army National Guard and Hop Valley Brewing. Tickets at CITPFest.com.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal, you should feel better about that. Or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Hey, I'm Allen Stiles. Have an injury? Call downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, an injury law firm, has many happy clients in Sacramento and the surrounding areas who have called downtown. Get paid for your injuries from slip and falls or auto accidents. One of their most recent settlements was $1.5 million for a motorcycle accident. Have you had an auto accident? Call downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222 and visit them at calldowntown.com.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
$12:30, taking you up to 2 p.m. I think Whitey Gleason's back, isn't he? He's got to be back.
Gotta be, right?
He's got to be. He's got to be back.
What do we think Draper's going to be here today?
I don't know. No, I show up. Carmichael Dave is not in studio. I turn on. I open my computer. Jason Ross is in studio. So last week there was no Jason. The week before was no Dave. I opened my laptop today. There's Jason in studio, Dave remote. I drive into the studio. Somebody drives right past me. I said, that car looks familiar. Jason Ross is leaving the studio. I have no clue at that point who's doing the show. If I'm supposed, am I an hour late? What is happening? So I don't know, man. I can't keep up.
You know what people can always count on? Allen Stiles.
That's right.
From 10 to 2.
That's right.
Until next month when you disappear.
Yes. Until next month.
Until next month when you're gone for 4 weeks.
But that's it. Besides that, I'm here. All right. Speaking of Brock Purdy, they just had a baby girl. So congrats to Brock Purdy. That's why he missed, what was that? One of the practices, was it last week? So they welcomed a baby girl in. So good for Brock. And I believe Christian McCaffrey earlier this offseason did as well. So they'll probably be besties, right? They're the same age.
2 daughters.
Yeah, they're going to be besties.
See, this is the only thing that's tough. Do you think Christian's going to stay in the Bay after he retires?
I don't think either of them will. But you're saying Christian will be done before
I'm saying
Brock. Yeah.
Brock's going to be there for a while, but
he went to Stanford, so I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe
he sticks around.
I'd like to believe they'll be besties.
Yeah, let's say for the sake of conversation that Christian McCaffrey's daughter and Brock Purdy's daughter, only a few months apart, will be best friends tearing it up in, I don't know, whatever the school system is out there in the Bay Area for people who make $300 million.
Hey, well, ESPN is really pushing the flag football thing. Not just the girls, but both. It's been all over. That dude made that crazy catch, that 14-year-old that looked about 6'5". He's got 30 offers already. Did you see that?
I have not seen
Oh, my goodness. People are calling it the best catch they've ever seen. So flag football is on the rise. It's popping up in high schools as a varsity sport. You never know.
Oh, ESPN is looking for content.
Hey,
I
watched it.
Isn't this the time of the year when they used to do that basketball tournament thing?
That is happening, but I don't know if ESPN picked up the rights because I've definitely seen it on social media.
Okay, because this is
not on ESPN, or I'm completely missing.
No, I haven't seen it either, but that's why I was confused. I was like,
flag football in the tournament out.
Yeah, whatever it's called is
so it's a bunch of old people from Ohio State. That's what I remember. It's the big red. The big red machine.
Yeah, it was always a bunch of old people from Ohio State and Jimmer Fredette.
A bunch of old people from Ohio State, a bunch of old people from Syracuse, and Jimmer Fredette.
Yeah, there's always Jimmer Fredette running around.
It's like Boeheim or something. It's like every year
every school's got one or something. I think the West Virginia one did good one year.
Yeah, and they're playing for $1 million.
Maybe it's gone up since then, you know?
Not without ESPN's TV deal. They're not playing for nothing.
Wherever they are. Apparently they're on Fox.
What are they playing for? Keeps.
Yeah.
They're playing for keeps.
Apparently they're broadcasting on Fox Sports 1. Okay. So I guess they did lose the rights.
There you go.
And now the prize money is down to $250,000 because they're not getting the ESPN money.
Let's get to our favorite from Bleacher Report, Dan Favale. 5 NBA rosters that make 0 sense. Who is on this list? I should say number 1, and I don't think this is in order per se, but number 1 on this list, Dan has the Charlotte Hornets for the NBA rosters that make 0 sense. He's got the Hornets for number 1. Number 2, interesting, he's got the Boston Celtics preparing to go through a gap year while Jason Tatum recovers from an Achilles injury. Doesn't give the Boston Celtics a license to trot out their current front line unless the goal is to tank their hearts out. With both Jaylen Brown and Derek White still in tow, we have to assume that's not plan A. Whatever the Celtics are doing here, no matter how out of the mix they're attempting to be, the front court still needs more juice. Number 3 on this list, the New Orleans Pelicans. Okay, flipping the number 23 pick in an unprotected 2026 to move up 10 spots and draft Derek Queen is a clear-cut signal. The Pelicans are playing to be really good. You do not surrender an unprotected first otherwise. Here's the thing, being really good while heavily dependent on 2 rookies
an injury-prone cornerstone, and an absentee for the time being lead guard is a long shot. Number 4 on this list, the Phoenix Suns. Buying out Bradley Beal leaves the Phoenix Suns with one fewer shooting guard. They now have approximately 11 left. I'm kidding, sort of. The depth chart is funny looking, but this mostly is a call out to the complete absence of a point guard. Last but not least, number 5, the Sacramento Kings. All right. Yeah. Domantas Sabonis specifically called for the Sacramento Kings to add a point guard this summer. They responded by overpaying the point guard adjacent Dennis Schroeder. Between him, Keon Ellis, Zach LaVine, Malik Monk, and Devin Carter, Sacramento seems obsessed with beating out the Phoenix Suns for the team with the most guards who aren't actually point guards thrown. DeMar DeRozan is a forward on defense, but a guard on offense, and I'm giving Nick Clifford a fringe wing designation because he's awesome. Then we have the whole Jonas Valanciunas thing. Landing him in advance of last year's trade deadline was an excellent move by Sacramento. Now the Kings are sitting on a big man rotation behind Sabonis, headlined by Dario Saric, Drew Eubanks, and Isaac Jones. After all this, there's only one question to ask. Why is Doug McDermott back? Like, he has it crossed out. Which current member of the Chicago Bulls will Sacramento do a deal for next? And that's just how
Was he saying, why isn't Doug McDermott back?
No, he was saying, why is Doug McDermott back? Then crossed it out as a joke and said, which current member of the Chicago Bulls will Sacramento deal for next?
Oh, I get it. That was like the fake, why is Doug McDermott back?
And that's the end of the write-up.
Doug McDermott was on the Bulls at one point, right?
He definitely was.
Yeah, he definitely, I feel like I remember that for sure.
There you go. So they're on the list. I don't really understand why the Celtics are on that list. What else were they supposed to do, right?
I forgot Doug McDermott got drafted by the Bulls. But to Boston point, I mean, they don't have a big man, which is a little confusing. So I guess in that respect, the team doesn't make sense. I think Luka Garza is their starting center right
that's
now.
right. Who is not Zach Edey.
No, here's the thing. If Luka Garza were 7'4" instead of 6'10", he would be Zach Edey. But he's 6'10" and not 7'4". Anyways.
Yeah. The Suns. So he's having fun with the Suns. Can we count up the Suns shooting guards? Because there's no way the Suns have more shooting guards than the Kings. It's not possible.
Okay, so how many wings would you say let's count DeRozan, Nick Clifford, all that. How many would you say the Kings have? 7?
I think 7.
So Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Keon Ellis, Malik Monk, Nick Clifford, Devin Carter, Terrence Davis. Do we count Doug McDermott too?
No.
Okay, then 7.
7.
All right. The Phoenix Suns have Devin Booker, Jalen Green, Grayson Allen, Ryan Dunn, Iguodaro, Royce O'Neal. Am I forgetting someone? Do we count Grayson Allen?
If you're not counting, so right now they're at 6. If you count Grayson, they're both at 7.
All right. Then we have Jared Butler and Kobe Bray.
And these guys,
they
haven't even
7 or 8.
That's crazy. And the Kings, they have more that are legitimately looking for. It's the Kings because they have more that are legitimately looking for playing time this season.
Yeah, Kobe Bray probably wants to play.
Crazy.
I think we're kind of tied, right? I think it's about a tie.
Yeah.
If we're counting Grayson Allen, we're counting Royce O'Neal, we're counting Kobe Bray, Ryan Dunn. Iguodaro doesn't count. I don't know why I said him. I'm just reading from the depth chart. So yeah, I think we're tied. I think the Suns and the Kings are about tied. Yeah. But I'd also rather have Devin Booker and Jalen Green than Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. I personally would.
Devin's doing I guess the answer is yes, just based on age, right?
Even if you just had it for one season, I think you might.
Devin's doing a lot of carrying there.
And
you're a Devin Booker guy.
No, I am a Devin Booker guy, but I'm also a Jalen Green is being disrespected.
No,
guy.
And
I'm not even saying Jalen Green is that good.
I don't know that I ever saw Jalen Green make more than 2 jump shots against the Kings.
He was averaging like 30 points per game for a month.
Against the Kings.
Yeah, I know.
The Kings owned the Rockets. That was the only team worth anything that the Kings could beat.
Because that's the prototype. So we're saying, what does Keon Ellis do great? He's great at guarding Jalen Green.
He's great at guarding Jalen Green and Steph Curry.
He's not even that great at guarding Steph Curry. They were just
locked up Steph.
No.
Can we just be
they were double teaming
on the
Steph.
On the other side, we're gonna get to the bottom of this Keon Ellis love here, because there are a couple things that Keon Ellis did that have cemented him within this fan base. Also, a former number 1 pick has some things to say about the point guard position, and he was a point guard. Hopefully he teaches us how to Dougie as well. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's Carmichael, Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's Trex.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Hagen Oaks wants to be your go-to total golf game fitter. Try the TrackMan experience, the very best technology to fit your metalwoods and irons. The new cutting-edge putter fitting studio with its $30,000 worth of technology is ready for your fitting. Hagen Oaks will help you find the best putter for your game. Hagen Oaks offers more technology, more choices, and more service. Schedule your fitting at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio by calling 916-808-2531, 808-2531 for more.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-292-4382. That's 800-292-4382. 800-292-4382.
At Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, we're all about summer smiles. During July, we're having our Summer Smiles special with $300 off braces or Invisalign with no money down if you start treatment in July. And you'll have a chance to win Legoland tickets. Go to kidscaredental.com for more information.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140
on Sacktown Sports.
Taking you up to 2 p.m. And we are going to discuss, we have to get to, in the 1 o'clock hour here, we have what Carmichael Dave said in the morning show. We have that for you. We're talking about my over-under and my Giants experience going to that game. We'll talk about Kyle wants to talk about, no, we're not doing it now, Kyle.
I know, we're just teasing it.
We're talking about my, I wouldn't say issue, but it's just a question that I had about a restaurant out there a very historic restaurant. Food was great. There was just something that was brought up. I just didn't know if it needed to be brought up in that way. So we're going to have some fun with that. And last but not least, Happy Gilmore 2. And now I got accused of giving away spoilers during the crosstalk. I don't really know how that works. I don't really know how that works with spoiling and crosstalks and movies and comedic movies. Can you spoil anything?
You most definitely can.
You can't spoil a comedy.
Yes, you can.
You cannot.
This is definitely, like, I don't know what the rules are anymore with these like streaming, movies that come out and stuff, but all I know is it's way too soon to be giving any plot details about Happy Gilmore 2. So many people have not had a chance to watch it yet.
All right. I specifically said we are watching this tonight because I knew Dave had watched it and I wanted to be a part of the conversation going into it today. Now, here's my question to you, Kyle. When can I talk about the spoilers on air? The quote, I'm air quoting spoilers on air.
As someone who chronically doesn't know movies, I'm not the best barometer on this.
2 weeks.
I would say today is too soon. I don't know when it's going to be okay. I'd say earliest next Monday.
Okay.
Next Monday. That it's been out 2 weekends.
Yeah.
No one's going to be talking about it anymore after that.
Sure.
Earliest you can give spoilers next Monday.
Okay. Because it gets to a point where I know people are running around and busy, but at some point, if you want to watch something, you can't be upset about a spoiler if the level of prioritizing isn't that high, right? Because some people just get mad, oh, don't spoil stuff, because I'm the same way, right? Don't spoil stuff. But if you actually wanted to watch it, you would have found a way to watch it after the 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If you really want to watch something. So for me, what was the HBO show?
There's a lot of those.
The HBO show where
Pedro Pascal one?
No. The HBO show Succession.
Oh.
So Succession, I was kind of in and out. I was watching it not very closely. And I started the first season a little tardy. And social media, they don't give a bleep about that. I honestly didn't even finish because everybody just spoiled it immediately. And it's funny because, hey, they do the same thing with Last of Us. Anything that comes on that Sunday night for HBO, that Monday, everyone just assumes everybody watched it. But I kind of understand that's the nature of the beast.
I think if it's a show.
Excuse me. What I was going to say was, clearly I didn't care that much about watching it. Because when there are shows that I do care about, I either watch it as soon as it comes out or I make sure to avoid it. So I do think there are a lot of people that want to get mad about spoilers, but deep down, they don't care that much. People like just getting mad about spoilers.
Yeah, if it's a big show, I feel like the people who really love that show should be allowed to talk about it, especially if it's once a week, right? Like where this became a problem this summer was Love Island, where there's like 6,000 episodes of this show every other day. It's like, okay, we can't be spoiling it every single day, but you also have to watch it every day or else you're going to fall behind on what's happening, because it literally is every damn day they're putting out an hour and a half of content. With Happy Gilmore, it's like, it's 2 hours. By the second weekend, you've had 2 hours if you wanted to watch this thing.
Exactly. But I will not spoil anything today. Yeah. I'll talk about Happy Gilmore, but I will not spoil
I have not watched it, but I did really enjoy I saw it somewhere else, but the person on TikTok who assembled all 73 cameos that are in this movie and like included, I think this is not really a spoiler, I don't think, the guys from that podcast, Bobby Lee and Santino, like just included them as one, right? So there's just literally a cameo every minute in this damn movie.
Ridiculous. As we were discussing point guards and trying to see why the Kings have so many shooting guards, this is from John Wall. John Wall discusses the death of the point guard on the Dog Talk podcast. A 5-time All-Star pulled back the curtain
on the modern NBA and made it clear the point guard role just isn't what it used to be. Here's the quote. "You're really putting two guards as point guards now," Wall said. "They're not trying to create for others. They're getting buckets. That's it." Wall outlined two types of point guards in today's game, the pure scorers and the ones who actually push the pace and get teammates involved. He pointed to Tyrese Halliburton and Chris Paul as rare examples of guards who still carry the torch of old school playmaking while adapting to the modern speed. And Wall isn't just reminiscing, he's speaking from experience. "If I can get my teammate paid, I did my job," he said. "That's what a point guard does. There aren't too many of those left." In an era dominated by highlights and stats, Wall still believes in the type of point guard that earns respect in the locker room, not just on the timeline. It's not about control, it's about balance. And players know who they rather hoop with. Quote, "Because nobody wants to just run cardio." Wall isn't asking the game to go back in time, but he's reminding everyone what made the best point guards great, the ability to make everyone better. And that was kind of a write-up from Clutch Points, as John Wall talked about this on his podcast. And maybe that's why a bunch of teams got 18 point guards, because we don't really know what there's just not a lot of point guards running around anymore anyway.
Yeah, and it's so weird because, like, this is in a weird way how the NBA has changed. When he's talking about that specific skill set, right, of makes your teammates better, facilitator, puts people in positions to succeed, etc. And you're not just running cardio out there. Who would you say in today's game is the best at that? Those skill sets specifically.
The pure point guard?
Just whatever he's talking about there.
Tyrese
is there, but like in a weird way, wouldn't you also, again, this is my guy, but it's kind of Jokic.
Oh,
like Jokic makes every teammate he's ever had better. He facilitates like a Tyrese Halliburton. He just does it from the middle of the court instead of the top of the key, right? It's like those
you were waiting for this.
Those skill sets still exist, but I just think it's fascinating that like what John Wall is talking about still exists. It's just not this is going to sound disrespectful, but it's just these people aren't Jameer Nelson anymore. They look like
where's his son? Do you see his son was in G League somewhere?
Of course he is, right? All the players I grew up watching have children now that are running around the NBA. but I guess that's kind of the idea is like John Wall, it still exists. It's just not a requirement to be a point guard.
And I don't know that John Wall was even that type of point guard, if I remember correctly.
It was a little bit of both.
Yeah, he was just moving and grooving.
I think him and Kyrie are kind of like their own versions where it's like they could get buckets, but they were also great facilitators. Because I think in the modern age, you know, Kyrie and John Wall were obviously both number one picks, but Cade Cunningham is kind of the new mold.
Yeah.
I think if Cade Cunningham were born 10 years earlier, he would look like what John Wall is talking about. But to John Wall's point, that skill set isn't necessarily asked of point guards in the same way anymore.
No, and you're also measured against who you're defending. Nobody cares about point guards' defense anymore unless you just luck out and have a big point guard. So it's really, okay, this person's scoring. Can I score with them, or am I getting beat out in some way, shape, or form? And that's really how it gets viewed, even if it shouldn't be that way. So I just thought that was good stuff from John Wall just to keep the conversation going. And maybe that's why some of these teams just have so many two guards, because coming up, these guys aren't playing even the point guard position. Because if you look at Dennis Schroeder, I think Dennis Schroeder, from what I recall, Dennis Schroeder isn't out there trying to get his. He's not out there trying to drop 40, but maybe he's just not being talked about because nobody thinks he's elite like that. But I think Dennis Schroeder is closer to a prototypical point guard, because even Dan Favale calling Dennis Schroeder point guard adjacent, I just don't. It's almost as if nobody is a point. There's only 2 point guards in the league right now.
right? And one of them is 87 in Chris Paul.
I mean, let's do a quick comparison shopping. So who would you say 10 years ago in the NBA? I threw out Jameer Nelson just to be, kind of funny, but who is the Dennis Schroeder equivalent of the NBA 10 years ago?
You'd have to give me more time with that.
Yeah, that's fine. My point was like Dennis Schroeder took 11 shots per game last year as a facilitating point guard. If we picked, I don't know, let's go Darren Collison.
Just
because Darren Collison used to be a king. If we picked Darren Collison in 2015 on the Sacramento Kings, Darren Collison was he was at 10 shots per game, so it's about the same. Interesting.
There's just a lot of different, even going back to Darren Williams, right? Guys like that, they could score, right? A lot of these names, Allen Iverson, they did score first. So I think there's always been a lot of scoring point guards as well. Then you have, Jason Kidd, who wasn't a scorer first. You had Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, the same way you had them. You had these scoring point guards too.
And nowadays we have, instead of like facilitating point guards, we have facilitating forwards.
Yeah.
Which then leads us to Ben Simmons.
And you got, put some respect on Stevie Franchise's name, man. Put some respect on Steve Francis's name. That's what I want to do.
I feel like, I don't know, but I feel like Steve Francis gets pretty good respect.
I think he should get more. I mean,
he never won a playoff series.
It's just a great nickname, Stevie Franchise.
Even though he didn't want to play for the Grizzlies franchise.
I am the franchise. When we return, 1 o'clock hour coming up, which means 30 minutes, commercial-free sports talk radio. We get into what Carmichael Dave said on the morning show regarding his 80-20 tweet over the weekend regarding Russell Westbrook. And we discuss who should be on the move if Westbrook is in. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
For 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland, and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Cash, Vincent Mason, and Adriana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Sponsored by the California Army National Guard and Hop Valley Brewing. Tickets at CITPfest.com.
Life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Aleve can help you deal with pain less throughout your day. Whether it's a long day on your feet, a demanding workout, or everyday aches and pains, you need relief that can keep up when pain persists. Aleve is here for you with longer-lasting body pain relief compared to leading OTC branded pain relievers. With just one pill, Aleve lasts up to 12 hours. Don't let those aches hold you back from doing what's important to you. Use as directed.
Introducing the new Dell AI PC, powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor.
It helps do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code, summarizing meeting notes, finding files, managing your schedule, responding to Jim's long emails, leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC starting at $699.99 at Dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
Save $12,000 off MSRP. Every new 2025 Silverado 1500 5.3 liter at Maida's Elk Grove Chevy after all rebates. And Maida Chevy has one of the largest selections in the Sacramento area. Plus $12,000 off new Silverado exclusively at the Maida Chevy Silverado Super Center. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Excludes work truck. Must trade in 2011 Chevy car or truck. Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers.
Made a great deal at Maida.
KHD 1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140. Live and local.
It's Allen Stiles
on Sacktown Sports.
1 o'clock. One more hour with you on this beautiful Monday. Let's see here. 82 degrees and sunny. Yeah, what's up with the weather, man? Everybody. Oh, Alan. You're not ready, man. You're not ready for this heat. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? This is light work.
Hey, man, just enjoy it while it's here.
Yeah.
Coolest July in 28 years after what last year was the hottest on record.
This is light work, man, taking you up to 2 p.m. And that's what we wanted to get into. And we're going to talk about it now. And of course, we have sound from Carmichael Dave regarding the 80-20. That's the percentage that he thinks as far as Russell Westbrook being on the Kings and what that means for one of the other guards, because you can't have 8,000 of them. The Kings would if they could, though. But before that, we were having some fun with the connection to Keon Ellis, okay, and 916-339-1140. The connection to Keon Ellis and why teams or why fans are so connected to Keon, and all you got to do is bring up Keon and people lose their mind. You will not move Keon. You will not move Keon. And I'm looking here, Kyle. We'll never forget it. This is when Klay Thompson this was the game. Klay Thompson had 0 points, all right?
Yes.
Klay Thompson had 0 points. Keon Ellis started because obviously Malik was out.
For that bum Klay Thompson.
And Keon Ellis went 3 of 4 from three-point land, 15 points. He clamped up that bum Steph Curry, and that was it. That happened. I just think, Steph, enough. That happened, and Kings fans universally said, we can never move off of Keon.
I will give you $100 million right now for that moment.
There were more moments, but that was the one. That night doesn't happen. Same Keon, same thing happens this past season. Same Keon, but that night doesn't happen. And we're having a completely different conversation about whenever we bring up Keon Ellis.
Oh, my God, yes. Because I'm trying to have it. Now that the Beam Team era is over, was that the best moment of the Beam Team era? Was putting out Steph, Klay, and Draymond, their last game together.
Think about it.
It's pretty close. Breaking the drought is probably number one, like when they beat Portland, but that's pretty close. Them maybe game one for some people, game one beating the Warriors, that's up there too. But they ended Steph, Klay, and Draymond. That's pretty cool.
In that moment, just bottle this now. In that moment, you just watch Keon clamp up Steph Curry, go 3 of 4 from three-point range on national television, 15 points. In that specific moment, now all you got to do is go to the Smoothie King Center and beat the Pelicans with no Zion. That hope that was harnessed at the helm of Keon Ellis. And this is also why where you are drafted matters in positive ways and in negative ways. Because Kyle, you look at Keon that night, he was a plus 20, he was a plus 27, okay? He was a plus 27. Harrison Barnes had 17 points. He was a plus 29. You know who had a bit, he didn't have the better plus or minus, but you know who balled out the most? This is why expectations matter. And it might be subconscious with people. What do I always say? Exceeding expectations are easier than meeting them. Keegan Murray had 32 points. He was 8 of 13. Sacramento. 8 of 13 from 3. He had 32 points, and people still do not care. People still are upset that Keegan isn't better. Keegan had 32. He had 32 points. 32 points.
Well,
Keegan Murray did.
One, he hasn't had another 30-point game since, but B,
well, I don't know about
that. It is statistically a fact.
We'll double check.
Again, I'm a Keegan guy, but statistically is a fact. And two, it doesn't even count. That's the worst part, is that they just erase the play-in game from history as if those games never happened. I hate that so much that they don't count that. Just count it as a regular season game, just for statistical purposes. Klay Thompson, you can't lie to me and say Klay Thompson didn't score 0 points in that game. I saw it. It lives on in me calling him a bum for that bum Klay Thompson.
I'm just double checking here because I just want to see what went, now that we're here, just what went wrong, man.
What, for the Warriors?
No. Zion, wait. No, this wasn't the one.
It's hard to. I've tried.
They lost too many times.
It's hard to find it.
It's too hard. It's too hard to find it because they just lost to the Pelicans way too many times.
Yeah, look, I've done the same activity as you. It's really hard to find the schedule from 2020.
I think this is it. I think I got it here, and let's check it out, man. New Orleans Pelicans. Yep, here you go.
I want to say
no Zion. Okay. Brandon Ingram had 24 points with 6 assists. Trey Murphy had 16 points. Jonas Valanciunas had 19
and 12.
19 and 12.
Well, he's the king of the play-in tournament.
This team went off. Najee Marshall with 11. Jose Alvarado with 10. They let Larry Nance score 13 points.
Yeah, I remember that. It was like all dunks too. Like it was just all layups and dunks.
De'Aaron had 35.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Just no one on the bench could score. I remember that now. They gave him nothing.
De'Aaron had 35. It gets better. De'Aaron had 35. Sabonis had 23 and 14.
Oh, just wait till you get to Keon.
I know. 17 for Harrison Barnes again. Keegan Murray had 11. Keon was a minus 20. He had 0 points.
Why do we not remember that?
Nobody remembers that.
We just remember.
Somebody's going to say, Alan, shut up now.
We remember Keon Ellis. This is the same conversation, right? We remember Keon Ellis clamping Jalen Green last season and all the deflections, but we don't remember Keon Ellis getting cooked by James Harden down the stretch, which led to Kawhi hitting the game winner that doomed their season, right? We remember some things and don't remember others. Like I completely forgot Keon had the 0 point game after the Warriors game.
0 points. He was a minus 20. He only took 5 shots. He was 0 of 4 from 3-point land. Davion Mitchell had 10. Trey Lyles had a donut. Sasha had 2.
Sasha played 11 minutes in a must-win play-in game. How do we not remember this?
Alex Len had a donut, and nobody else played.
Alex Len only played 4 minutes. Why was Sasha playing 11 minutes in a must-win game?
What a time to be alive, man. What a time to be alive. So, what was it? What was it? Or what is it? All of the memories about Keon.
So it's the game against the Warriors where Scott Fresh was hitting the night on Steph Curry.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That was great, by the way. That went so viral, and I was so happy that Scott Fresh went viral for that. So we had him clamping Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and Scott Fresh hitting the night. We have just the word deflections. Every time someone says deflection.
You know what it is though, how I recall this. I'm pretty sure, and I'm double checking now. I think Keon this is what it is, dude. He just not always, but that season prior, and I think to start this season before the Warriors got Jimmy Butler, I'm just pretty sure that Keon always plays well against the Warriors. That's what this comes down to.
I don't think that's just what this comes down to.
That's what a lot of this comes down to.
I think there's more nuance to this also.
That's what a lot of this comes down to.
Remember that one game he hit like 9 3-pointers?
Yeah,
too?
I remember that.
Yeah, which they lost that game, I think. But he hit 9 3-pointers in a game, and everyone was like, look at what he can be on offense.
He just plays really well against the Warriors. Now, obviously, they got smacked. They got smacked by the Warriors once the Warriors made that trade.
Okay, he plays well against the Warriors except when he doesn't.
I'm telling you, man. A lot of it is just that play-in game. That's all anybody really needed.
It's the play-in game. It's locking up Jalen Green and Jalen Green type 2s. It's the game he hit 9 3-pointers. And I know we're being funny, but the reason why Keon Ellis should be beloved is that he's the type of story that, 20 years ago, everyone would have been selling you as like, this is the heart and soul of the team kind of guy, right? When you talk about undrafted, G League, 2-way contract, gets an NBA deal, goes to the bench, goes to the doghouse, goes back to the bench, then becomes a starter. And now is like an integral part of the team. That's the story everyone is supposed to love. Everyone is supposed to get behind. And I get why there's an emotional reaction to wanting to keep him around, in addition to all the other nonsense we're talking about.
The 2 games that the Kings won against the Warriors, he had 11 and 8. But he did lock up. They also beat them good.
No, they just double team Steph.
It's either, hey, Pat Spencer, or go ahead and beat us, Guy Santos.
Yeah, what was the one game where one of the games they won, Steph had like 2 points, but I think it was like Draymond and like everyone except Pajemski was out or something like that. Like they just had nobody available.
0. It was Steph and Guy Santos.
Yeah.
That was it. So the last time one of these L's, 132 to 108.
Oh, I remember.
Warriors beat the Kings. Keon Ellis, 0 for 6 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3. He was not a team worst. Zach LaVine was a team worst, minus 24. Keon was a minus 18.
Was this the one right after the All-Star break when you were talking, when the Warriors and Kings had the same record and you were saying 5 seed? Jake Gayden made you say the 5 seed is where the Kings are going to go.
At that time, the Warriors were 29 and 27. The Kings were 28 and 28.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, no, I think they were both 28 and 27. I think that was after the game. Those were the records.
Yes, exactly.
Because they had the same record, and they traded for Jimmy Butler, and we traded for Zach LaVine, and it was not a fun time after that.
So we were just trying to get to the bottom of it, man.
That was when we made you were out at Doco, and that's when we made those predictions.
Yeah, which probably we should delete from.
Yeah, you were
everything.
like, this tonight is where the season turns around for the Kings, and then they lost by 25 at home.
Then they lost by 8,000 points.
Yeah,
Kyle,
Jimmy Butler had like 80.
Let's hear from Carmichael Dave, who is elaborating on his tweet from over the weekend, where he says the Westbrook deal is about 80-20 as far as whether he thinks it'll get done. Here it is.
I'm going to explain to you why I'm struggling with this question, because I think it will make sense. From an analytical point of view, just a straight no. They have 700 guards, and they don't have a power forward. Go find a power forward or something close to it. I'm still pissed they didn't trade for John Collins. And I'm just saying, just from a straight, like, you want to be the best team you can point of view, I believe they have more need at the 4 than they do at the 1. They got their straight up point guard in Dennis Schroeder, and you can go backup point guard by committee with Monk or Carter or Keon, or there's already there's already way too much going on in the backcourt. And I understand that Scott Perry would almost certainly move somebody if they brought in Westbrook. And look, the long-term play here may be, and I'm not reporting this. I'm just looking at the chessboard, guys, that maybe you can bring in Westbrook because you're moving one of those guards off as part of a deal for Jonathan Kaminga. Well, then, okay, now that still makes a little bit of sense. On the other hand, this is why I have trouble with the answer here. From a you want the best basketball team possible standpoint, no. From a I keep saying I don't really, they're not going to be good next year. I don't care about wins next year. If it was up to me, they'd be clearing all salary off the books that they can, with the exception of Sabonis, unless they got a great deal for him, and focus on playing the young dudes. Play Nate Clifford, play Raynaud, play Ellis, play Keegan Murray, put him in a focal point. That's what I want. So, Jason, on one hand, it's not. I don't think it's a tremendous need. On the other hand, it doesn't matter. Screw it. Go ahead. We're still going to win 40 games.
That is Carmichael. Dave, as far as what could happen with the Sacramento Kings and Russell Westbrook. And I thought that Dave might be a little bit more excited about it. I mean, it's no Ben Simmons, but I thought that Dave might be a little more excited about it. He talks about still being upset about the John Collins thing, who, again, where did John Collins go? Yeah, he went to the Clippers. So there are multiple needs, going back to the John Wall conversation and how many typical or classic point guards are there even in the league at this point. But I don't know that I just see it as the same type of need as other people are seeing it. I just think unless you're planning on moving on from Malik Monk, I mean, is it crazy to say is Russell Westbrook that much more pure of a point guard than Malik Monk? I mean, he's a better point guard, don't get me wrong, but on the scale of, oh no, we need this guy, you're just not going to convince me of that they don't have enough ball handlers now that they have Dennis Schroeder, that Russell Westbrook is a need to have.
I don't know what need would really put them over the hump at this point, but I guess if Devin Carter's not going to play this season, just based on the pure numbers of, like, we have Zach LaVine, we have DeMar DeRozan, we have Nate Clifford, we have Keon Ellis, we have Malik Monk, someone's going to have to fall by the wayside. I guess if your argument is, hey, Devin Carter isn't going to be an impact player and he's not going to have the runway to become an impact player on this team, versus Russell Westbrook can give you 20 to 25 minutes a night at the point guard position, then I guess in the short term, Russell Westbrook makes your team better than Devin Carter. But then this comes back to the same conversation of, should they be worried about trying to be better in those margins? Or should they just say, bleep it, we're going to try and play Devin Carter at the point guard, because if it doesn't work out, at least we'll know.
That's kind of how Dave closed it, and just saying, either way, you're going to be around 40 wins, so you might as well see what you have with Devin Carter. I probably agree with that, because I don't know how much better is the team. They could sign Russell Westbrook right now, and I wouldn't come. The next segment wouldn't be, hey, these guys are going to go to the second round. These guys are going to go on a deep playoff run. I just don't think he moves the needle that much. But clearly Scott Perry is a believer in that, and I'm just not a believer. I'm just not a believer in what they're fully trying to put together. I think that Russell Westbrook makes them a little bit better, but you might as well see what you have with Devin Carter instead of, continuing to just add more pieces. I don't know that it's worth losing Devin Carter. And if you've been listening to the show, you know I've never sat there and been extremely high on Devin Carter. I just want to see more. But the only reason I bring that up is because I still essentially feel like you might as well see what you have with Devin Carter versus losing Devin Carter at 23 years old for a year of Russell Westbrook.
Well,
I don't really understand that.
I think this is why I was a little bit confused by our friend Matt George's tweet, which was like, oh, they're looking to move Monk or Carter before bringing in Westbrook. But they don't have to do that. And I would also make the point, like, if push came to shove, just leave Devin Carter on the bench. You don't have to sell low now.
Right.
Just
and Dave said maybe it's connected to the Kaminga thing, which maybe it is. But if the Kaminga thing doesn't happen,
they'll probably just sign Westbrook with the MLE.
Exactly.
Assuming that's what Westbrook wants. So, and then you waive Terrence Davis and boom, you've got your 15. You've got Schroeder and Westbrook. You've got Levine and Keon. You've got DeRozan and Neek. You've got Keegan and insert power forward here. And you've got Sabonis and Reynaud and Drew Eubanks. So I guess in that scenario, yeah, you just say either Neek Clifford is going to live up to his potential. Someone's going to get injured, right? If injuries come up at some point, Devin Carter's a nice piece to have, but they're not going to be able to really give him the runway, I think, on this team as presently constructed. He's not going to have the runway to find out if he's going to be a guy or not, which at that point, I understand why you're at least seeing what you could get. It's kind of the Dalton Connect situation with the Lakers.
209 says, and we knew it was going to happen. Here it comes. 209 says, when was the last time the Kings had an ultra competitive dog like Westbrook? Brings that edge to this team. Maybe it's that simple. Yeah. What's the edge gonna fetch you? Three more wins?
No.
What, 5 more?
I mean, he cost the Nuggets 3 wins and a coach's job.
What's the dog gonna get you?
The edge cost Michael Malone his job.
Yeah. What's the edge gonna get you? Maybe it is a certain level of not necessarily the wins per se, but maybe it is a certain level of starting the foundation, right? I don't know that Russell Westbrook is going to get us or going to win us 5 more games, but I want the younger guys to see what he brings to the table. And somebody can kind of become or take some of those characteristics on. Maybe that's what it is.
Or maybe this is just the direction they want to go, right? As much as we can detest and bemoan the idea of, hey, this team is not good enough, so why are you doubling down on the current roster? Maybe this is just the direction that Scott Perry and Vivek Ranadive and the people in charge want to go. They would rather Westbrook play 20 minutes than give Devin Carter the runway to figure out in the NBA how good or bad Devin Carter is. Maybe that's just the answer.
Right. And if I guess the best conversation or the best way to say it is we don't know what we have in Devin. Even if we go in a different direction next season, we don't necessarily think that we need to hold on to Devin and go through that process. And here's the other thing. They must feel pretty confident they are going to hold on to Keon Ellis, right? They're going to be able to extend Keon and he's not going to hit free agency. And even if we decide to go in a much younger direction next season, we don't think that we need to keep Devin Carter in that world either.
Or maybe we go with neither. And we really use those resources in a different way, in a way that none of us can really see right now. Who knows?
Yeah, that all remains to be seen when we return. Let's get into some fun stuff here with the over-unders, how bad the Giants were, and how good Nick Kurtz has been. Allen Stiles, Sacramento Sports.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/delivery for more details.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time. The next time you're out to dinner with friends, you can order the shrimp cocktail for the table. And maybe you'll realize it only comes with 4 shrimp after you've already given away 3, but that one shrimp will be so good. And if you switch and save hundreds, you could get shrimp all the time. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for shrimp. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
The Giant Summer Sale is here. Get giant savings on our giant selection only at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save during the Honda Summer Event and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. See all our specials at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal. You should feel better about that. Or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
"30 more minutes with ya, and we are going to talk to Whitey Gleason. We believe is back in the building. You just never know these days in the summer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he'll pop in at some point if he is going to be here.
That's right. Some text to read here, 530. Carter needs a chance. The Clippers didn't know what they had in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from the 530. Mm-hmm.
They also used him to get Paul George.
That's right. Maybe, look, I don't think anybody is thinking Devin Carter is going to be SGA, but I understand what you're saying, 530.
We also can't even trade Devin Carter for Jonathan Kaminga.
Not right now. The 279 says, I don't think Carter at the 3 is worse than Murray at the 4, from John DeLima. Yeah, we just have to see him. We just have to see more of him. And number one, can you stay on the court? You know what I mean? Can you stay on the court right now? That's been one of the issues with Devin Carter. When he does, the thing is he hasn't played very much and he's still been injured. So can you stay on the court? All right. Okay, Kyle. I know we're still looking for a drum roll, please, but we got a drum roll, please, on my over-under at the Giants game.
That's all I got right now.
Okay, that's good enough. You know, we were doing okay until the 7th, 8th inning came around, and I know somebody is going to judge me, but that's quite all right. The 7th, 8th inning came around, and I don't know who has been to Oracle Park as of late, but apparently Oracle Park did a deal with Uber Eats. Okay, so they did a deal with Uber Eats. Because obviously, like we said, because of my wife's current situation, there were no adult bevies happening on her end.
But we still set the number at
$150.50.
I thought we went down to $125.
$125.50.
But she had a crab sandwich and everything else.
Uber Eats. So basically, you go to Oracle Park and their Uber Eats scan codes on the back of pretty much every chair. So you don't have to get up. I don't know how I feel about it, but in that moment, I did not feel like getting up, to be fair. And you scan the code. They're in the ballpark, and they come right on up to you with the Uber Eats bag, and they give you your food.
So is this just of things in the ballpark, or you can get any?
I'm fairly sure it's just other concession stands in the ballpark. So my wife hops on Uber Eats, gets her garlic fries, gets me a crab sandwich, and there goes the under. There went the under.
You spent $150?
No. We were already not on the Uber Eats specifically, but that took me over.
Really? Okay.
That took me over. I was already, kind of messing around with it.
So I'm confused. Well, maybe you were having some of the bevies, but
I'm not gonna.
Just saying the Uber Eats thing was there the entire time, right?
Yeah.
So it was just specifically as you were getting closer to the end.
Yeah, we just
wanted to try it.
Yeah, and that leads to we had early dinner. We're kind of just we're I think we had gotten some type of snacks, and then as the
only $80 worth of some kind of snacks,
and then then it came time for the Uber Eats because we're getting kind of hungry, and we're already there, so give me the crab. I honestly wanted to see if the crab sandwich was going to be good via Uber Eats.
So wait,
Don't do it.
So it's in an Uber Eats bag?
Yes.
But it's still just like a person in an orange concession outfit.
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm thinking, like, how does this...
I don't think they're in a normal concession. I think they're just wearing whatever.
Okay. So it's just...
And they just roll up on you with the Uber Eats. Here you go.
Interesting.
And there went the under. With every bite, the under just was getting fried.
So, okay, next question. It was still the same price... Were there fees?
It was the same price. She did it on her phone.
Okay. So you don't know.
Yeah. So I do know.
Like, do they charge you more
I don't
for
think
someone
so.
to bring it to you?
Right. Because it is delivery technically.
Yeah.
But all you got to know is that the overhead, and we sat down, we didn't know what was happening because we hadn't been to a game since before baby number one was born.
Oh,
so we hadn't been there in a while. Then we got back, and maybe because we were normally in the bleachers. And we bought some good tickets this go around.
Seats.
Oh yeah, we were in the nice seats.
I saw the Instagram stories.
And all of the backs of the chairs had the Uber Eats, and people were ordering the whole time, man. So there is something nostalgic about walking, to go get the stuff, but it was much easier. I gotta say.
You took the convenience.
Yeah, I did.
But also cash the over.
The other thing is I don't know where we were, because like I said, we're normally in the bleachers. So I know where the Crab Sando spot is, where the bleachers are concerned. But is there another one? I just didn't feel like dealing with it. And speaking of dealing with it, this leads me into fair or foul. This was a poll that I put out on basically on Instagram and on X, on Twitter as well. So this was the situation, okay? It was 4:00, right? And we did get to check into our hotel at normal time. Thought we would have to be late, but we get into the hotel. We're ready to go. We're kind of caught in between. Should we eat dinner? What should we do, right? So we go to this place, which will remain nameless. It was a very historic food spot in San Francisco. And the historic food spot in San Francisco, it's 4:00. And as we're about to sit down, the hostess asks us, will you be done by, do you have a reservation? We said, no, we don't have a reservation. It's also empty in there, right? She asked us, will you be done by 6? Which I thought was kind of an unnecessary question because I understand, hey, reservations are coming at 6 o'clock, so you have to be out of here by 6 o'clock. I would have just preferred, and maybe if this is a semantics thing, just tell us that, right? We're in Giants gear. We're clearly going to the game. It's 4 o'clock. Just tell us, hey, no reservation. That's cool. You guys just have to be done by 6. Why are you asking us, will you be done by 6? I don't know. I guess, do we have to be done by 6? I guess, yeah, we'll be done by 6. It's a semantics thing. And everybody, I had people, I mean, I'm talking about real deal. You would know some of these names responding to me saying, you must have never worked in the food industry. People just linger. No, I have worked in the food industry. That was one of my jobs when I was in school, right? I worked at a country club. I have worked in the food industry.
Oh, that's not quite the food industry.
It is. It was a restaurant in the country club. Okay? Now they get to do whatever the heck they want.
Yeah, I was going to say, different rules for that.
Okay, but my point is I understand that people linger, right? I think she just didn't know how to say it properly and ended up asking us, will you be done by 6? Just tell us. Just tell us, hey, you guys don't have a reservation. You should be done by 6, but we have reservations coming in. So I get that. I don't think I give off lingerer.
Because I guess if your answer is no, then
let's just leave.
Yeah, then we'll seat you somewhere else.
I don't think anybody plans on, it just happens, right? It just happens. I don't think anybody plans on, I'm going to be here for, we're going to sit down for 2.5 hours. It just kind of happens.
I guess also, like, when you ask the question, I guess there's other factors involved. Like, is my food going to get here at X, Y, or Z time?
A part of it's on you.
Yeah, it's like we plan to. I don't know how that's going to work out.
Yeah, I don't know. The power is in your hands.
Unless, as you say, as long as you're done by 6, I guess that would make you feel better than just asking the question.
Will you be done by 6? I don't know. Will I? I don't know.
So you would have rather them just say, we need you to be done by 6.
Yeah. Hey, we got a bunch of reservations coming in at 6. So, and I would say, we're clearly going to the game.
So this was on Saturday.
This was on Saturday.
So yeah.
Before the game.
A game that starts at 7 o'clock.
6:30, 6:45.
Okay, so there you go. I guess, how far away from because like they should be used to people going to the game. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how far away.
We're not dressed up as if we're, just tell us. Just say, hey, we need you to be done by 6. We got reservations coming in at 6. Because if you ask me, now it feels, just say it with your chest. Just say it with your chest. That's all.
Okay. I feel like you've worked this out yourself on the air, right? You've done therapy. You've gotten it out. I feel like you're okay with this. You would have just rather the person.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the time limit when you don't have a reservation. It's just from their perspective, nobody is eating in there right now.
So just say,
you're not going to turn. Yeah, you're not going to turn us away because you have reservations in 2 hours.
Yeah, the time frame is the bigger thing. It's like, hey, just tell us we have to be done by 6.
Yeah, right. Will you be done by 6? Yeah, I think so. You tell me. That's it. And everybody was responding saying basically just saying that the idea of it was fair. And I agree. The idea of it is fair. It's just say it with your chest. This just goes back to, managers and things like, hey guys, when we have just standards, hey guys, when we have people come in around this time with no reservations, just tell them they have to be done by 6 when reservations come in. That's it.
I think that's fair, but I don't feel like it's that big of a deal that they asked the question. It's
no, it is
kind of the same goal. The same goal is being accomplished.
I didn't like it.
Again, you're getting to the same result. You just don't like how we got there. Just tell me.
Just tell me. Because then I'm gonna say. So then at one point we're eating, and the main manager said something, and I said, "Don't worry, we'll be out of here at 6." And of course, my wife kind of just gave me one of these, like, you didn't have to You didn't have to.
Okay, now someone on the 530 is saying the icebreaker should have been, hey, are you going to the game tonight?
Yes.
No, that's way too much work.
No, that is too much work.
Way too much work to accomplish the goal.
But when I said, don't worry, we'll be out of here at 6 to the manager, she's like, oh, no, it's fine. And my wife just gave me one of the, really, dude, did you have to say that? Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I wanted them to know. They were worried about it, so I wanted to make sure.
It seemed like there was a lot of that. A lot of your wife just giving you looks this weekend.
Really,
not for bad things, just like, why are you like this?
Why? Yeah. Was that completely necessary? No, I don't think any of it was completely necessary because we're out of here. But very good. Some of the best wings I've had in the city.
Oh, okay. Now you're going to show them love.
Some of the best wings I've had in the city.
After you've had a 5-minute, really 24-hour semantics argument about the waiter giving
some of the best wings. You got to try them out. You got to check them out.
Not going to tell you what the name is.
Not going to tell you. If you DM me, I will tell you the name. But I'm not going to say it on the air. Real quick before we get to Whitey Gleason, who is in studio, by the way. I don't even know where Whitey has been, but he returns. But real quick, the Happy Gilmore 2, I'm not supposed to say any spoilers. Was it completely necessary? I don't think so. But I think as far as offending, number one, I would say that out of the different sequels that have come out this year, Gladiator 2 was way more offensive than, based on how much people loved Gladiator 1 and the type of movie it was, Gladiator 2 way more offensive than Happy Gilmore 2. Happy Gilmore 2, the first hour had my cheekbones just in pain from laughing. The first hour. The second hour did not need to be a 2-hour movie. Definitely not.
That's much better than I would have given it, because I told you I thought this movie was going to be just awful. Just there's 80 cameos.
But you haven't seen it yet.
No, I have not seen it, and I probably won't see it because I don't have Netflix. But
so
I thought it was going to be awful. So the fact that you're saying even an hour of it was great is better than I would have thought.
So that's where we'll leave it because I can't say any spoilers. Here's a spoiler alert. Whitey Gleason joins us to close out the show. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
People are coming from all over to Sacramento Dodge Jeep Ram, from Folsom, Elk Grove, Woodland, Roseville, because they've seen for themselves the huge selection and the best prices at SacSuperstore.com. Good luck finding a lower price anywhere else. And if you do, they'll match it. It's as simple as that. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where a handshake still means something. Open until 10 o'clock and essentially located right across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course. And online at SacSuperstore.com. The guaranteed lowest price and the best selection of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeeps, and Rams. SacSuperstore.com.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/delivery for more details.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave here for Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, inviting you to come join them every Wednesday for their midweek madness drawing, giving away $2,000 in total cash starting at 6 p.m. It's a safe and friendly environment, plenty of well-lit parking available, and it's conveniently located right there in downtown Sacramento. And remember, best food, best service, best games, 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
At Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, we're all about summer smiles. During July, we're having our Summer Smiles special with $300 off braces or Invisalign with no money down if you start treatment in July. And you'll have a chance to win Legoland tickets. Go to kidscaredental.com for more information.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sacktown Sports.
He's back. Whitey Gleason.
Hey,
is
Alan,
back.
how are you?
I'm great.
Kyle got a haircut.
Kyle did get a haircut.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I guess you haven't seen him since then.
No, it's been a while.
Well-
First thing I noticed. Everything else is the same around here. Everything else is exactly the same, but Kyle got a haircut.
6 for 6, 4 home runs, 6 runs scored, 8 RBIs. Nick Kurtz, one of the greatest games. People are saying it might be the greatest game ever.
Yeah. You know, one of those numbers, the number that you just mentioned that really stands out, 6 runs scored apparently is really rare.
Yeah.
They're all rare. No rookie's ever hit 4 home runs, I know, but it's very rare that a guy scores 6 runs in a game.
Jeff Passan,
Or a woman.
never in baseball's 150-year history has a player finish the game with at least 6 hits, 6 runs, and 8 RBIs until Nick Kurtz. His 19 total bases tie Sean Green's single game record, and Kurtz had 1 more RBI. There's a genuine argument it is the best game ever.
And in 6 MLB ballparks, he would have had a 5 home run game. The first in his
And that's what we're doing here. Because I was at the Jung-Hoo Lee game, that double on Saturday. I was at that game, and it's time to just change the dimensions, right, Whitey?
No.
Yes.
No.
I mean, you're
great.
you're basically giving him free money. You can put more seats in.
Yeah, Whitey, it is time.
I love it. It's crazy.
But why are you doing this when you have ballparks that are tiny?
That's the beautiful thing about baseball. One of the beautiful things, the ballparks are different sizes. Drives my wife crazy. She doesn't understand it. She's like, they should all be the same. Sounds like she's been talking to you about this.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, the double, that was a healthy, it wasn't as if it just hit off the brick in right field. I don't even know. I guess people saying, to fix the dimensions based on where he hit it, how you would fix that specific area.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Or just bring it in, I guess.
Beautiful park. There's no fixing that needs to be done.
That's
not the problem with your team right now. It's not the yard.
It's one of the problems.
What do you think is the problem, Whitey? Because we can't figure it out. They should have good hitters, but they just don't hit.
They have good hitters that are all stinking right now.
I don't think they're bad. The Giants are just not very good.
But they have great starting pitching. They have a great bullpen. They have batters that on paper should work.
They have a catcher that doesn't hit. They have a right fielder that really doesn't hit much.
But they have
center fielder doesn't really hit that much.
They have 18
third baseman
right
that I know he's having for him, and by today's standards, pretty good year. But he doesn't hit that much. The shortstop haven't been hitting much this year. I know he's coming around.
Right. I think
Devers looks good at first.
He was fighting for his life on.
But
he survived.
What's going to happen when your guy with the River Cats shows up?
Bryce? Well, then
Devers DH?
We'll finally be a respectable team again once Bryce Eldridge shows up. I said yesterday, obviously I'm going to shout out the River Kitties. Go bring up Grant. Are we sure Grant McCray can't hit at least a little bit better than one of the outfielders? Are we positive?
I guess somebody is. Somebody in charge of making that decision must be.
Are we positive? Because I'm not.
Better than Yastrzemski?
Oh, my goodness. He could be hit better than
Well, good news, Alan. You've only got 2 months left of Yastrzemski before he's a free agent.
They'll probably bring him back.
361 or something. Bryce Johnson. Remember Bryce Johnson?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Bryce Johnson. I'm just saying, Whitey.
And who was the guy that mashed lefties that you couldn't wait to get rid of?
Oh, my. I'm looking at his face. Slater.
Yeah.
Austin Slater.
Yeah.
He's still hanging around somewhere.
He's Mike Trout against lefties. Cool. Awesome. You got to keep him.
Ooh, you guys want to guess where he's at now?
I'm going to go Pittsburgh.
Is he in? No, that's Matt Duffy. I was going to say the Rays.
I don't think he's still in the league. There's no chance. Now I'm looking that up. There's no chance.
Where is he?
He's a White Sox, apparently.
Oh.
just slumming it in Chicago right now.
Just don't do that.
Also, Matt Duffy has not played in the majors since 2024.
Now that guy could hit.
Wasn't it his cat that was the fattest cat ever?
Oh, yeah.
Why do you remember that?
Because the pictures of his cat were incredible. That cat was enormous.
Yeah.
It was like, that's got to be Photoshopped. Nope, that's really the cat.
Oh, my God.
Cat Duffy.
That cat is larger than him.
Whitey,
yes.
You still taking Jacob Wilson Rookie of the Year?
I don't think so.
You think you're taking Kurtz?
Mm-hmm. Jacob Wilson, numbers tumbling since he got hit in the wrist and everything.
I thought you were going to say since our interview.
Oh, yeah, where I said...
Didn't want to go there.
Where I said before, I mean, this guy, he was hitting 360 before, and now he's down to like 330.
Oh, yeah,
now he's down to like 320.
You got in trouble for that. You got in trouble for
people
that.
Got mad about that, but I was right.
A lot that, and I don't know how plugged in or not plugged in you were, Whitey, but a lot of...
I can't unplug.
A lot of... It's hard to say a lot of stuff happened because nothing actually happened, but a lot of talk has happened. The Westbrook thing might be connected to Kaminga because if a guard goes out in a Kaminga deal, Westbrook comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought up Keon Ellis, and people were not happy about Keon Ellis and possibly moving on for him for Kaminga.
Right.
It's a lot of stuff, Whitey.
Yeah. Here's the issue I had with what you posted, which was... And I think you talked about it on your show, which of the guards you should get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends on what you get for them. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. All we know from what we've read and heard in the reports that Malik and Devin Carter, one of them won't be on this roster. And I think it might not be to start the season, but once you start hearing about this stuff, it doesn't go away.
I know people love Malik, and I love Malik, but if you just look at it from the team's perspective right now, where they are, what they have, what they're trying to build, Devin Carter is cheaper. He defends, and I think the things that Malik does well, I already have from other people. From that standpoint, I think he's the more expendable one. Taking emotion out of it. I know he's a fiery leader.
Yeah.
I feel like the team's kind of been taken from him. It's like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore, Malik. Thanks.
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, and I said this earlier, he got a tryout, right? He got a tryout this past season. Now, whether or not Malik felt like he was best served as a point guard or not, I don't know that. But I do know that he clearly saw this as an opportunity, and it just didn't necessarily go well for him. And if it did go well for him, maybe we're still having this conversation based on where the league is going, but maybe not. Once he came out and said, he didn't say he didn't want to start, right? He said, I feel more comfortable at the 2. I distinctly remember him saying that. Once you say that, even though I don't think it would have changed much of anything because we all watched, but once you say that, okay, now you're one of the 8,002 guards we have. Now we're going to look at things a bit differently. It's just that simple. And the Brett Siegel, he told us on Friday that we thought that maybe it was adding Malik because of the money issue with Kaminga right now via sign and trade. So I asked, well, if Kaminga signs for $20 a year, for example, in December, would the Warriors then possibly be interested in Malik Monk? Is it just about right now or in general? And he said, I don't think they like those 3 years specifically for them. That's not to say nobody likes it 3 years for Malik, 2 years in that player option, but the Warriors are operating in 2-year kind of situation. Increments.
We talked to Monty Poole a few weeks ago, and he knows the Warriors very well.
Mm-hmm.
From his standpoint, is that they just don't have interest in him.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't want Malik Monk. So, okay, I don't think anything's going to happen there.
Wow.
With him and the Warriors.
But
I don't know. It's just interesting that we keep hearing about this when my understanding is the Kings are kind of, this is a long shot. We don't know if anything can happen, but they're sure trying.
And they're not leaving the table.
Yeah, right.
They're not leaving the table. That's what I said. That's how all the Keon Ellis stuff started. Mm-hmm. Essentially, I said, if you believe in Kaminga as much as it kind of feels like you do, should Keon, who you could lose in free agency, by the way, should Keon keep you from getting that? That's not me saying it, but clearly they have not. Well, and everybody else around Sacramento, go find a better offer. If not, then we out. But they're not out. Mm-hmm. They're not out.
It could be at this point the Warriors are saying, yeah, we want Keon and we want Keegan and the first rounder.
Well, then they're tripping.
Maybe why nothing's happening.
I think you could remove one of those things.
I'm just saying it could be from the Warriors standpoint.
Right.
And the Kings are sitting there waiting for the price to drop,
I thought that Kyle made a good point in saying.
Kyle Ledbetter?
Yeah, I know. In saying maybe it's addition by subtraction and the Warriors would rather not do a bad deal and just let him walk, right? And then take on, I don't want Malik for 3 years.
Their owner likes him a lot.
No, they do. They do, but that might be why they aren't really tripping off of, we have to get something back of equal value. Maybe it's, honestly, if we got to let him walk, we'll let him walk. And I'd rather that. Now, why they wouldn't just take Devin in that situation. But maybe they will.
Maybe.
Whitey Gleason will tell you all about it.
If they do, if it happens during our watch, we'll let you know.
Wow.
Me and Jay.
You and Jay today?
Yeah.
So it's just musical chairs again. So today it's no Draper. Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, but no Kyle Draper today. Jay Johnson, Drive Guys coming up next. Thanks to all the callers, sexers, sack chatters. Thanks to Kyle, as always. Great job. And until tomorrow, secure the bag. Like the beat.
All right. Don't forget about my podcast.
Don't forget my podcast.
Gotta go.
Life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Aleve can help you deal with pain less throughout your day. Whether it's a long day on your feet, a demanding work